All right, hey folks. We're gonna get some. We're gonna do some Spelljammer Eberron Bastion Campaign stuff today, and there we go. Hey, what's going on? I'm just fixing my screen here, and I know that our signal's okay. I've already checked on that, so we can drop that down here. And let's see. Check. There we go. That should be looking pretty good. There we go. Right on. So, okay, so documents that we're going to reference today. If we drop here into the drop down, the actual campaign workbench, which is the Eberron Spelljammer Kaiju Bastion campaign that we're going to be running on my Discord. Here's my Discord here. We're playtesting Bastion mechanics that we've developed for DMsGuild. It's still a work in progress, but that document is here. And this is basically taking the concept of Bastions from the DMG 2024 system and converting it into a kind of like spell points. It's a resource that you expend points to acquire different facilities and to facilitate die rolls and stuff like that. We'll look at that system here for a little while we're working today. Here's the Kaiju Constructs work in progress. Also a work in progress document. This is converting the Spelljammer mechanics that we published on the DMsGuild into Mecha and Kaiju. We've looked at that a number of times. But here's the book that we published on the DMsGuild. It has a massive free preview. So you can click on the preview button. It'll pop open a PDF here for you. And we can scroll through and look at like ship designs. And we can scroll down and look at the creature menagerie for different type of monsters that we have developed for this. But basically this system, the system that we developed for Spelljammer uses the 5e combat system that you would expect characters to use, like at the 5-foot scale if they're just running around. It uses the same 5e concept. Instead of a 5-foot square, it's a 50-foot square or a 500-foot square, depending on what kind of ships you're utilizing. So if we're, say, looking at fighter craft, these use minor helms. Minor helms can power ships up to 50 feet in size, while major helms can power ships up to 100 feet, up to 500 feet in size. So if we're looking at vessels like the Star Moth, the Squid Ship, the Nautiloid, these classic ships from Spelljammer, these squares that they occupy are 50-foot squares. So like the Scorpion ship here is 75 feet long. So it occupies a 2x2 space at the 50-foot scale, like a large-sized creature would at the 5-foot scale. We can see the Night Spider is 200 feet long, so it occupies a 4x4 space at the 50-foot scale. The largest ships that they offer in the Spelljammer book are Squid ships, which are 250 feet, as are Hammerhead ships, but we could incorporate something as large as 500 feet in size, which we have, say, a Dwarven Citadel. Which is a 10 by 10 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 by 10 space at the 50-foot scale. I don't like the profile so much. I think I want to improve this illustration. But here's the interior floor plans. The team starts off with 3 floors in the Citadel, and as they develop additional facilities inside of the Spelljammer, they can carve out more stone to create that space, and then be able to add in those facilities as they gain ranks in their Bastion. So the Bastion system can be used for both structures, vehicles, and settlements and nations. It works on a scaling system, kind of like how ship combat scales from the 5-foot scale to the 50-foot scale to the 500-foot scale. The Bastion system that we're developing here for the DMsGuild scales up from 1 to 5, kind of like half casting. You have 1st level, 5th level, 9th level, 13th level, 17th level, which is also when you gain your proficiency bonuses of +1, +2, +3, +2, +3, +4, +5, +6, right? So a rank of a Bastion correlates to the level or tier of gameplay that your characters are currently operating at. So as you can either code it so that as your characters gain levels, they automatically gain Bastion points, Or you could have the Bastion grow independently of the characters, and they have to pump gold and resources and time into developing the Bastion, but it could outpace the characters. So in a true Bastion campaign, we can have the Bastion be the focus of the campaign, and the players are essentially the people that own the Bastion, that run the facility. And then as complications and events arise that could impact the Bastion or different orders that you're issuing, these become episodic adventures that you send your characters out to complete and perform so that they can return having completed the order, and now the Bastion gets to advance whatever it was that you were trying to do. Like if you wanted to build a magic item, for instance, and you might need like a Quaddle feather, for instance. A Quaddle might be like a CR 11 creature, so that would be appropriate for like a 3rd rank item, which would be common, uncommon, rare. It'd be like a rare level of rarity for a magic item. So like that'd be appropriate for like 9th to 12th level characters to go chase down a Quaddle, right? So that's a way that you can structure it. But then like if there's like a town burglary that robbed the local storehouse, so now the materials that you need to build that shipment of arms that you were supposed to make for your weapons dealer that you have a trade deal with, maybe somebody stole all your shit. That might not be a 9th level character task. That might be a 2nd level task. So your Bastion could have your 9th level characters that are high level troubleshooters, but you could also have group or like adventuring parties of like low level goons. So in that sense, you could technically operate a West March campaign where everyone, all the different, the player cloud operates and works within this Bastion, and whoever shows up for your West March game next, they're going to tackle an order. So each week you have different orders that you issue that need to be executed, and however many teams of players you have takes one of those orders each, and any leftover orders that aren't tended to by player characters become ability tests or like skill challenges that the Bastion makes, not characters. So you'll have a Bastion, like an actual Bastion turn would be issuing orders, resolving any complications that arose from those orders, and creating adventures from those complications. Then the players decide which adventure, like which complication do they think would make a cool adventure or might coincide with goals they already have to generate for an adventure, and then they go on that adventure. You take like maybe 3 or 4 sessions to complete it, and then you come back to your Bastion having completed that resolving that complication. When you fail an ability check, you can't proceed without carrying out that order until the complication gets resolved. If you succeed at the ability check, then it doesn't require any resolution. It gets taken care of. You're just doing business. It's getting done the way that's supposed to get done. But if something goes wrong with the die roll, it then creates a complication that doesn't cause the task to fail, but you can't gain any progress in it until that complication is resolved. If you make it an adventure, if your characters survive and come home, it's because they resolve the complication, and once it's resolved, then that order completes. So every week you're going out performing a mission, coming back from that mission, and then at the end of that Bastion turn that week, all the orders get resolved. Any that the players didn't specifically go out and fix go with the skill challenge test of the Bastion itself. So the Bastion rolls a d20, and like as kind of like a stat or maybe a proficiency is whatever rank the Bastion is your modifier. So it's d20 at like say a 1st rank Bastion, d20 plus 1. And then instead of having like an actual ability score or like a proficiency bonus, it has a Bastion die, which acts as a proficiency die. So it would be a d20 and then plus 1 because of 1st rank Bastion, and then plus d4 on top of it. Like a 1st rank character has a plus 2 proficiency bonus. The proficiency dice optional rule in the 2014 DMG was if you want to have more swing in your proficiency checks, instead of having a flat bonus, roll a Bastion die. roll a proficiency die. So a +3 bonus is a D6, +4 bonus is a D8. 13th level, you've got a +5 bonus, that's a D10. 17th level, you've got a +6 bonus, which converts into a D12. So when I run campaigns, individual characters have proficiency bonus, but when you have a collective of individuals working together as a group, that becomes a proficiency die, because you can't guarantee how well somebody's going to work together with their teammates on any given day. So that proficiency die becomes a variable of how well did your team work together as a group. The D20 is how well did that group execute the task. So like you could roll like a 19 on the D20 and a 1 on the Bastion die and still hit a DC 20 task, because your team worked like shit, but they're skilled at what they do, so they succeeded. Or it could have been like they rolled a 14 on the D20, but rolled a 6 on the Bastion die. On a D6, that means they worked incredibly well together, even though they're not particularly skilled at it. So they were able to pull it off. Anyway. So depending on what those two dice do together, narrates how well the task was executed. And then the Spelljammer system that we have developed, that leans into, where'd you go, buddy? Blip, there you are. With the Spelljammer book, the way that we built siege weaponry is, so we have this action economy, right? This 5e action economy. Your team works, your characters work as a team on the ship. Everyone gets their normal action economy depending on what role they play. And what role they play generally it depends on what kind of equipment are they using this round. So a pilot is anyone that is at the helm and expending action economy to make the ship go. And so while you're in the seat, and you can have a co-pilot that's also in the seat with you, as long as you're in the space or adjacent to the space occupied by the spelljamming helm, you can operate the ship. If you're instead of being attuned to it, we focus. Focus is something that takes either an action or a bonus action to basically attune, to temporarily attune to a magic item. So the chair of some specific magical siege weapons, an amplified orrery to be able to use it as like a tracking sonar device in space. These things require focus. You can focus on as many items as you're adjacent to or holding, but they work like concentration. So you're like loosely attuned to them, but you have to maintain focus while you do it. Focus doesn't get in the way of maintaining concentration on spells, but any time that you would have to make a concentration check, like with a spell, that also tests your focus, which is basically whatever the difficulty of the concentration check. It's either like 10, or if you take damage as a pilot, for instance, then if you take 20 points of damage, that'd also be a DC 10 Constitution saving throw, just like concentration would normally be. But while you're focusing on the helm and maybe focusing on like a scry spell or something, if you lose concentration, not only do you lose the spell that you're concentrating on, but you also become unfocused, so you can no longer pilot the ship. So it's a good idea to have multiple characters that are capable of jumping on and attaining focus of the helm, so that you're not just flying dead in the air, right? So interaction, since you can't move while you're sitting on the helm, you don't have need for movement, so we treat that as object interaction. So object interaction is to move the ship like normal. And then you can take multiple actions just like you can in normal 5e combat. You can move the ship as like a dash action. You can disengage to make sure you're not triggering opportunity attacks from other ships that you're within melee reach of. You can defend, which is basically giving you a boost to your armor class. Hide, which is, the hide skill. If there's a large enough object that you're floating nearby to be able to snuggle your ship behind, then you can use that to hide, not only from sight, but from an orrery scanner that might be looking for you and trying to get a signal off of you. So you can use that object to cloak your signal. And then the ready action is, to ready to do something. And then you can use your action to make attacks like normal. If you're the pilot of a ship, hold on. Am I able to open up? No, I can't open up. Wait. Open in reading pane. No, that's all I want to do. But the ships that we were showing off earlier, they occupy 50-foot squares or 500-foot square spaces, depending on the size of the ships. And when you make attacks, they all have like grappling claws or hold on, this actually does warrant taking a look at that. So let's go here real quick. Like here's all the pre-made ships that were in Spelljammer, Spelljammer's Adventures in Space that WotC published. And then here's the fighter craft that we created and added on to utilize these are, like this Spiderling, for example, is 40 feet in size. It's 8 by 8 at the 5-foot scale, compared to like the Star Moth, which is 200 feet long, which is 4 by 4 at the 50-foot scale, right? So, but you can see like the Scorpion's obvious, right? It's got these pincer claws, it's got a mangonel, it's got a ballista, and it also has harpoon flingers, like from Descent of the Avernus, like anti-personnel weapons, right? But it has these melee weapons that are built into the ship. It also has these pointy legs. If we come over here and look at the Night Spider, this thing's also has mandibles, which act as claws, just like the Scorpion does, but it has all these giant legs. These legs act as piercing rams. The Star Moth, this is actually a giant blade on the front end of the ship. Hold on, let's go to I'll show you the illustration. Here, you see it's like a giant cutlass on the prow of it's being grappled the hell out of by this Nautiloid ship. These tentacles are melee weapons as well, which can grapple and do bludgeoning and crushing damage. But the Star Moth here, it has basically a giant scimitar stuck to the prow of the ship, and that is a slashing ram. And then like the Hammerhead ship, for instance, has a bludgeoning ram. And depending on what type of a ram it is, like if it's a piercing ram, if you like do a ram attack and then hit, and if you could then spin a bonus action to like automatically grapple if you're using a piercing ram, because you've impaled the ship and now you're stuck to it. If it's a bludgeoning ram, when you hit the ship, if you spin a bonus action, you can scuttle the enemy ship, which means forcibly change their gravity alignment so that everybody gets thrown out of their seat, and they take falling damage based on the size of the ship that got scuttled. So like if you get scuttled in a Scorpion ship, you'll take 2d6 falling damage. But if you're able to scuttle a 250-foot squid ship, so it gets tossed on its end, then you'll take 5d6 damage. And of course, if the pilot loses the saving throw on that stuff, it gets tossed out of his seat, the ship has lost focus, and now it's just dead in the space, and you can get advantage on attacking it. So scuttling is a good opportunity. But slashing rams, if you successfully ram a ship, it does triple damage instead of like if you ram, it does double damage plus the kicker effect. Slashing ram doesn't have a kicker effect, it just does triple damage. So these are melee attacks you can make. You don't have to just use a ramming attack of like sprinting into the side of a ship and then dealing damage with it. You can be at the 50-foot scale adjacent to other ships and use melee weapons like you would in a dungeon at the 5-foot scale with like your monk versus an ogre, for instance, like a Scorpion ship versus a Night Spider. That Night Spider is like a 4x4, while your ogre Scorpion ship is 2x2. It's like a large versus gargantuan fight. At the 50-foot scale, it looks the same way. If you throw in a bunch of obstacles like asteroids and like storm, like ice fields, or wild space storm systems, shattered planets. There's all sorts of like a world tree and a branch of the world tree. There's all sorts of different obstacles that you can create for ships to interact and engage inside of, so it's not just an infinite blank field of space that you're just basically slugging at each other until somebody falls. You can create environments and hazards and fun stuff for the ships to be navigating around using the same 5e action economy that we're used to. Let's go to our table of contents here real quick and go to the ship rolls. Zoom in here again. And then we have bonus actions: attack, defend, disengage. The ram, like we were talking about ramming. And then scuttling is a specific thing that you can, is a separate thing. Like if you're grappling, you can use a bonus action to try to scuttle the ship to toss its gravity if you want. Then you have reactions of deflect, pace, opportunity attacks. Then you have other roles like siege commanders that oversee squads of characters that are operating a siege weapon, and depending on the scale of the amount of damage that it does depends on the crew. And we were talking about the Bastion die being a proficiency die and how that represents how well a team works together with these Spelljammer mechanics, operating teams as a group. Here, let's go down to siege weapons, ranged siege weapons. So we have here, like we're looking at, here we go. We use a proficiency die. So when you command a crew of characters, instead of using your proficiency die, you use instead of using a proficiency bonus, you use a proficiency die instead. So if I'm a 6th level character, I've got a +3 bonus to my checks because of my proficiency bonus. Instead, when I'm commanding a group of characters, I'm going to roll a d6 instead of a +3. And so there's a reload score that's attached to each weapon. So the reload score, like if it's a d4 times 10 damage, which is like what a ballista does, a mangonel does d6 times 10. It has a reload score of 5. That means you have to have five creatures that are each taking an action each round to load and fire the weapon. But everyone knows, like, we have actions, bonus actions, and if you're a high enough level character, you have multiple attacks that you can make. So you actually have multiple actions that you can use per round. So that means that if the team is fast and coordinated enough, they can fire that weapon more than once per round under good direction from a good commander. How do you qualify as a good commander? Well, the reload score is the number that, if you roll that number on your command die, your proficiency die, like if I rolled a 5 or higher on my proficiency die, then my team coordinated their actions so efficiently that if I have another attack or a bonus action available as a commander, I can issue another attack. So I could theoretically, like, say a 11th, let's say 13th level fighter has 3 attacks with an attack action and a bonus action and a reaction, right? Technically 5 pieces of action economy. And at 13th level, I'm rolling a 10-sided die because my proficiency bonus is +5. But when I'm commanding groups of characters, instead of a flat proficiency bonus, I now use the proficiency die. So on that D10, if I roll a 5 or higher, then that team coordinated so well that they were able to fire the mangonel and automatically reload it for me to fire again with my next attack action. If they fail, if on my command die I roll below 5, they don't coordinate their actions, and now I have to spend a separate action specifically to have them reload the weapon, which could be an attack, a bonus action, or a reaction. So if I have 3 attacks as a 13th level fighter, if I make an attack with the mangonel and they botch the roll, like I could roll like a 19 and a 1. That's going to be an armor class 20 plus 4. 24. I'm going to hit it, right? But I only rolled a 1. So even though I hit with the mangonel, my team botched their coordination. So I spent 1 action to attack, success. I'm now going to use a bonus action to reload the weapon, and now I can use my second attack to fire the mangonel again. Let's say they miss and they botched the roll. So I could then use my reaction, and I then reload the weapon, and I can use my third attack to fire the mangonel again. If I miss, or rather if they botch their coordination roll, then the weapon can't be used to like make an opportunity attack, for instance. It's not until somebody comes along and issues the order to reload or combat ends, the weapon can't be reloaded. You have to command the crew to reload it. So if they botch the roll, they reload it. And you can have multiple weapons. You just add up the score of all of them. Like if these 3 ballistas each have a reload score of 2, individually I'd have to roll a 1 on whatever die I'm rolling to fail the check. I'll automatically be able to roll that, re-roll that D4 times 10 damage when I'm attacking other ships. But if I wanted to order 3 crews at the same time to all fire together as a single attack, dealing 3d4 times 10 damage, the reload score now becomes 2226, right? And that means that unless I roll a 6 or above on my reload die, none of them are prepared to fire again. And I have to spend an action on each individual weapon. You get a reload, you get a reload, and you get a reload. So if I was using that 13th level fighter, I attack with a barrage, they botch it, I will then use my reaction, my bonus action, and one of my attacks to reload all 3 of these weapons. and then I can make another attack with my final attack, my last piece of action economy, to fire that barrage again for 3d4 times 10 damage. But unless I roll a 6 or above, they're all botched. So someone, either I'm going to spend next round reloading all these weapons, or someone else on my team is going to lend their action economy to issue orders to reload, which could be the pilot overseeing them from the spelljamming chair, using the innate scrying ability of being anywhere and projecting your voice to anybody on the ship. You're omnipresent, so you could feel like you're right next to the crew while you're safely tucked away inside of the bridge of the ship, but you can still be issuing orders and commanding those ballista teams to be firing. So if you've got a fighter on deck and like a paladin on the pilot chair, then between the two of you, you could potentially not only pilot the ship and maneuver, but between the two of you coordinate reload actions and have a constant barrage of ballista fire while like the paladin's like piloting to strafe whatever ship it is that you're fighting. You're going to be running and gunning, like maybe dancing between asteroids and stuff to try to keep them from getting a clear beat on you. Ducking in, firing off, ducking behind, reloading your weapons, pulling out again. It's really it's as dynamic as normal 5e combat. But I digress. This was just to demonstrate how there's different ways that you can use this proficiency die to represent different things in the 5e game engine. So I use it mostly to represent coordinating multiple characters together in the Bastion as hirelings performing a task, or similarly on a spelljamming ship coordinating together to fire siege weapons. It's kind of the same thing. The siege weapons are basically you're issuing orders to your siege crew to attack every round of combat, while a Bastion turn is 1 week. And if you're like, say, make me 50 swords, and 50 times 10, that's 500 gold. That's going to be a difficulty of 20 to be able to pull off that many swords. So you're going to make an ability check, a crafting check, d20 plus, like, say, +2, and then your plus d6. If I get a 20 or better, my team will have successfully created those 50 swords that I needed this week. If they failed, then something went wrong along the way that needs to be resolved for them to complete the task. Like something went wrong with the ore, or somebody blew up the smithy, or gremlins have attacked, and now you can't go in there because the gremlins are causing chaos with everything. That might take like a second level team to go in there and chase all the gremlins away to clean up the area. So that becomes like maybe a 2 or 3 hour adventure of you basically giving noogies to the gremlins until they go away so your team can get back to work and make those swords. But like we were talking about earlier, it could be like you need to get a quaddle feather from the jungle of So that's going to take you a week to go to the jungle of get the quaddle feather, and then come back. That might be a 9th level adventure because it's a CR11 creature, for instance. So but if your team doesn't want to do either one of those things, then it's going to be a Bastion check. The crew, the hirelings that you have in the Bastion will perform that task as though they were the characters, but since it's not something that you're role-playing and actively adventuring, it just gets resolved with a die roll. So if like that quaddle feather is a 3rd rank task, you got 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. 5 ranks. Difficulty 10 is pretty easy to do, unless you're rolling a d20 plus 1 plus d4. And then you've got basically like a 2 out of 3 chance of succeeding, which means 1 out of 3 you're going to fail and create a complication that creates an adventure seed. So that's the basic mechanics of how a Bastion campaign is structured. So right now what we're working on specifically, let me fix my screen. Right now specifically what we are working on is building the different facilities, the different settlements and the bastions in those settlements, so that we have this framework for the community that the characters are engaged inside of. Because there's 6 different communities in the asteroid cluster. Go here. Here's Eberron, the orbit of Eberron. The planet occupies 8,000 miles. This is a 10,000 mile square that the planet of Eberron occupies. And then these are the 12 different moons of Eberron in orbit, each square being 10,000 miles. So this the moon of Shavarith, I forget the actual name of the moon, but it's a portal to the plane of Shavarith, the endless battle, or the battlegrounds is what it's called. It's 22 squares. It's 220,000 miles away from Eberron, so it's 22 squares away from Eberron. And in this campaign, we have our spelljamming ship's maximum speed is 10,000 miles per day. So we can traverse 1 square a day like a hex crawl. And this is where our team is starting, inside this 10,000 mile space, which is where our asteroid cluster community is at, which is here. This is 500 mile squares. So if you can go 10,000 miles per 24 hours, that roughly is 500 miles per hour. So our Spelljammer ship can do 500 miles per hour, which is obviously a lot slower than a normal Spelljammer can do. But again, 5e, it's an incredibly customizable game engine. So you can scale up and down things very easily with it, and it retains, the mechanics remain. Just like scaling combat from the 550, 500 foot scales, or scaling up the number of people that a die roll represents taking actions. Similarly, you can scale up and down the speed of ships to align with the scale of your campaign. So most of the activities that are going to be taking place is going to be inside of this square of space, this 10,000 mile area. There's other places that the team can go, like Pirates of the Lazar are here. There's a neighboring community over here that's friendly to the team. The Unseelie Court has a structure here that's basically becoming Feywild, and they're starting to overtake the area. This is the Poison Sea. This green area. This is where there's air there, but it's fouled. So if you enter that space, you're poisoned. But there's nowhere beyond Shavaroth. Maybe there's no oxygen. But everything from Eberron to Shavaroth's order, it's all air. It's just most of it is poisonous. It doesn't have any vegetation or life to breathe life into the air. It's stale, stagnant air. So you can traverse it. There's no risk of dying, but you're poisoned until you can take a breath of fresh air. So this is currently all of the structures, the asteroid clusters and chains that we've created for this campaign so far. This here up here has Droam and a friendly nation. Down here we have our starting cluster. Lazar Pirates are here. The Unseelie Court is down here. And then a friendly asteroid nation over here, which we haven't defined yet. We'll have to get to. But each of these squares is 10,000 miles. And when we cap a Spelljammer speed at 10,000 miles per day, this becomes a hex crawl, kind of like a Super Mario World's style of hex crawling, where it could be a point crawl. We know the established routes that we can follow to get from one asteroid cluster to another and remain within fresh air to do it. We're on the beaten path. But that also means that there might be pirates that are on these pathways. Or we could really freestyle it and not use the beaten paths and then go off into the Poison Sea. It's like cut a straight, if I wanted to go from this cluster to this cluster, I have to cross Poison Sea to get there. So it'll be 3 days, it'll be 2 days that I'm basically out here flying through poison to get to the next cluster. And as soon as I get into fresh space, I'm no longer poisoned. So, but creatures that exist out here in the Poison Sea, they don't suffer from it. Like Scavers, Kindori, stuff like that, they aren't affected by the Poison Sea. So they get to attack you without any disadvantage, while you're always disadvantaged while you're there. It adds a little extra difficulty and risk to venturing out of the common lanes, the established lines. So you can point crawl between locations, Super Mario World style, or you can drift out into the Poison Sea into true hex crawl. There could be all sorts of structures out here in the Poison Sea, but it's going to be inhabited by creatures that are native to that environment, so they won't feel it. And like the plants or whatever kind of life lives there don't produce oxygen that helps you breathe. Or there could be like a little pocket, like there could be like a 50-mile pocket out here in the middle of the poison sea right here that does produce enough air for you to be able to get fresh breath. But its scale is so tiny, you're going to have to leave it to keep moving on. So it could be an interesting hidden gem, like an oasis, as it were, in the desert of poison air. There'll be little oases that crop up that are fresh and that you can breathe. So if we zoom in to the 500-mile scale here, this is the cluster that our team is inside of. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the 6 locations that have communities that the team is going to basically be overseeing. In an XCOM style of game, each of these communities could have a complication that occurs that needs tending to, and the team gets to choose which one they think is most interesting, or they can just ignore all of them and go their own way and pursue their own ends. But if a complication arises that aligns with their objectives, or it's like, yeah, why don't we do that because it's going to help us do X, Y, and Z while we're at it. So why don't we go help out with that? So we're going to be constantly generating new challenges every Bastion turn. Each Bastion turn is a week. So the team has control of this Dwarven Citadel. That takes it takes 1 hour per square. So if we're, say, here at Capital Rock, everything is with 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Everything's within 2, 3, or 4 hours away from Capital Rock. So the team in their flying citadel, XCOM style, can fly, like here, for instance, we're demonstrating that there is a giant cloaker that is attacking. This rock is called Far Hope. So giant cloaker is attacking Far Hope. That is the kaiju that the team has to deal with this week. So we go to our Kaiju campaign. Where is that at? Here we go. And we already have the stats for the kaiju. Let's scroll down to it. Cloaker, here we go. This encounter is a Cloaker Kaiju with a pod of Kaiju Dark Mantles. So the Cloaker is 50 feet in size. Compared to the 500-foot Citadel that we have, that's not much of a fight. But if the Cloaker is getting into the community and like getting into forests or dodging inside of asteroids, it's going to be really difficult for the Citadel to get into these spaces. So we have Mecha. Mecha are these small 50-foot or smaller scale fighter craft that we were showing off earlier here. Let's go to that again real quick. Here's our fighter craft. Like we were saying, we can use the claws and pincers and rams on these ships to act as melee weapons while we're the pilots. So like this Spiderling fighter craft, it's a Neogi favorite. It's in my Eberron, there are no Neogi, but we have Space Drow, right? And Space Drow and Droam, the Drow and Droam work together in my Eberron. And there's the Medusa, but the Medusa are from Drow that got changed by Loth, their Dark Queen. Yes, Loth is in my Eberron because she's cool. But these spider-worshipping Droams, all of their ship are night spiders and these spiderlings. They got the arachnid motif going on. So this 40-foot mecha basically is a spider-shaped mecha, right? And it has these limbs that when you pilot, you basically are like essentially wild shaping into the ship. So you can fly, that's great. But you have all these pincers, all these piercing rams. Each of these legs can deal siege damage. At this scale, like they do 5d8 damage or 1d4 times 10, one way or the other. But because it's a 50-foot ship, it could do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Yeah, so it would be 4d8, not 5d8 damage. So every time, but it's, so yeah, the cloaker is 50 feet in size. This spiderling fightercraft is 40 feet in size. These are, they match scale. So we could have our 50-foot cloaker here that's attacking this asteroid. We could have our team dispatch Mecha to go fight that cloaker as though we were normally operating at the 50-foot scale. But the stakes is it's attacking, like, say, our sheep community, like the sheep herds on this asteroid. So the cloaker is sweeping through trying to eat up a bunch of sheep, and they call us XCOM style. We have kaiju attacking our sheep community, chase them away before they eat all of our food so that we can continue feeding our people on this asteroid. And that becomes your mission, and you go there and you fight those those kaiju. Where are you at? Oh yeah, separate folder. There we go. So the cloaker is 50 feet. So this encounter, if we roll a 5, this encounter is like here is it's a space kraken, which is a big threat. It has 681 damage, which is basically like a 300-foot vessel, and it does siege levels of damage. So it's a decent threat. It does 30 point, basically on average 30 points of damage, and like that spiderling has 80 hit points plus however many hit points the pilot has. So if it's dealing 30 points of damage, you might say let the ship take 10 points of damage and then you take 20 points of damage. If you're a barbarian, as a pilot in your mecha, you could be raging, so when that damage comes in from the kraken, it's probably like say it's going to be bludgeoning damage. It's bludgeoning damage. So you could then use your rage to reduce that damage by half. So instead of 30 points of damage, 10 going to your ship and 20 going to you, and then you reduce that to 10, and so you can get healed or temporary hit points because you're raging or whatever your subclass is. That would totally apply. And your ship takes less damage because you're taking the damage. It's almost like when you take the seat of the spelljamming ship, you automatically get the mounted feat in 2024, which says that anytime an attack is directed at your mount, it can be directed at you instead. But instead of you, so basically it's like warding bond. You can decide to take damage for the ship so that the ship doesn't get damaged. The bigger the ship, the more damage the ship can take for the crew. The smaller the ship, or the bigger the threat, or the higher level the characters, the more damage the characters can take for the ship. But it's basically the same pool of hit points. Like if your ship would normally drop down to 0, you could let it drop down to 1 hit point, and then the pilot starts taking all the damage instead of having your ship destroyed. And then you can just keep healing the hell out of the player while your wizard on deck is using mending cantrips to try to heal the ship. During combat, you're healing both your ship and the pilot to be able to keep the ship going. So it's fun mix of action economy there. But if we're looking at this, like I said, these are basically you're wild shaping yourself as the pilot. You're wild shaping yourself into the shape of these animals that are operating as vessels. Like this is an illithid cuttlefish. It's this is a 20 by 20 gargantuan size mecha that can have 2 illithid inside of it operating as co-pilots together to command this semi-living ship to attack. And it has these tentacles, so it can grab people. And this is an eldritch cannon, so it can channel its psychic blast through the eldritch cannon to amplify to the 50-foot scale. So this is going to be running around on a 50-foot grid, like a small sized creature on a 50-foot grid, versus like this cloaker that occupies the 50-foot. The cloaker is 50 feet, so it barely fits inside of a 50-foot square. But because it's a 50-foot creature, it has 193 hit points, and it deals 5d10 plus 3 slashing damage. So it's really fucking dangerous. If your 40-foot mecha has 80 hit points, and it's going to be dealing on average, 30 points of damage on average, again, you could let your ship take, like, say 15 points of damage, and then I'll take 25 points of damage, but I'm going to, like, say, have Warning Bond because my cleric is my co-pilot, or like we were talking about being a barbarian that's raging. We have temporary hit points that are being generated because we have false life or something like that on us. There's a lot of different ways we can, like for example, a Twilight Cleric is perfect for Spelljammer because you can constantly be pumping temporary hit points onto your pilot and your co-pilot on the bridge at the helm, while your cleric is otherwise utilizing, like, the orrery station to be able to project spells, like create a spirit guardian effect at the 50-foot scale to surround your ship with spirits that shred enemies. Like, as the cloaker closes to deal damage with you, they'll hit the spirit guardians that's been amplified to the 50-foot scale, dealing its normal damage, like its 3d8 damage, that'll slowly whittle down the cloaker. But the cloaker also has a squad of Dark Mantles with it. Like 4? I think it has 4 Dark Mantles. Yeah, times 4. So, like, this cloaker wouldn't, with only on 93 points of damage, and like you guys dealing like 30 points of damage to hit yourselves in your ships, that cloaker isn't going to last long. So it has minions with it, Dark Mantles. Dark Mantles and cloakers are kind of natural allies. They kind of lurk in the same spaces, and they have that same cloaky vibe to them, so they're good partners. But these things are only 20 feet in size, each. So they deal 3d6 plus 3 bludgeoning damage, but they can also envelop your ship and try to chew on your ship while you have it, which blinds your pilot, and you have to try to shake them off. And they have, like, the blinding effect, which the cloaker can then scream through to terrify people. Like, it's a decent combat match. And, like, if we have 4 mecha pilots that are flying around in, like, say 20-30 foot mecha, fighting this mob of kaiju at the 50-foot scale, that's a fun battle. It'll probably take about an hour or so to resolve, but the consequences is if you don't resolve that threat, they'll do damage to the community that they're attacking. So there could be 2 or 3 kaiju attacks at the same time at different asteroid communities, and your team can only go to one of them. And so then, like it shows here, that the Cloaker Kaiju and the Pot of Dark Mantles deal 1d8 resources of damage. So if we go back again to the Bastions, and we're looking at where was it at? Wrong button. Go back to the top. So the rank of Bastion, you have this D4, D6, D8. Cloakers and a Pot of Dark Mantles is basically a third rank threat. There's enough XP there to be a small battle for like 9th level characters. So it'd be an easily resolved combat, but it would be difficult for like say 5th, 8th level characters. So we're clocking them in at third rank. So that means that they'll do. Where was it? There it is. Deals D8 resources of damage. So a Bastion, like what community is it attacking? It's attacking Far Hope, number 5, which is 2nd rank. So a 2nd rank Bastion has up to 20 points. And so if this Cloaker attack is going to deal D8 points of damage, that means that up to 8 of the Bastion points are going to be stripped off of this Bastion in the form of damaging facilities, depleting resources like the wealth that's been accumulated to maintain a lifestyle for the place, like all the food is destroyed. These Bastion points are spent inside of the Bastion to create facilities. So it's basically like it's like a point buy system. So this is how many points you get at each rank. And then let's go back to, where is it? Here's the campaign. We'll go back up to our communities. Unique Bastions. This is in Fell Tower. I want to go to Far Hope. Here we go. Far Hope, 2nd rank community. Population of 914. It has not PB, it has BP. Bastion points, it has 19 Bastion points. So each facility in the Bastion system in the DMG, it has 5 ranks. There's 5 ranks of Bastions. There are 5 ranks that we can attain with each facility. So if we have a 2nd rank facility, that means we can put up to 2nd rank. If we have a 2nd rank Bastion, we can have 2nd rank facilities in that Bastion. Each facility has 5 ranks, or a minimum number of ranks. Like, for example, if we want to have a demi-plane, it's 5th rank. We can't get access to it until 17th level or 5th rank, the top rank of Bastion, and it's going to cost us 5 points to establish it. If we have a barracks, that's only 1st rank, so we could have 1 point put into barracks, so it's now a 1st rank facility. Like, we can have up to 10 soldiers in our barracks with 1 Bastion point. If we're a 2nd rank Bastion, we could put 2 points into the barracks, and then the barracks becomes, we could have up to 100 soldiers in that barracks total. So the higher rank, the more powerful the Bastion becomes. Like, if we have the armory, we can make magical weapons in the armory. If we use the Empower Order, we can get it as early as 1st rank, but at 1st rank you can only make common magic items. By the time you get to 5th rank as a Bastion, you can upgrade your armory to 5th rank, and now you can make legendary weapons in your armory of that Bastion. But it's going to take you have to have at least 40 points in your Bastion to become 5th rank, and of those 40 plus points, at least 5 of them, you have to have 5 of them in the armory to gain that 5th rank access to be able to make legendary weapons. So if your Bastion takes damage, and you've got this list of different facilities that you have access to, you can, like, for example, you see here in Far Hope, it's already taken damage recently. So its gardens are disabled and its greenhouse is disabled. So it's not producing food properly right now. It needs help. Until it can get these repaired, it needs food being brought in from other communities to feed the population that's on Far Hope. So one of the downtime activities that your characters are performing while the Bastion turn occurs and you're going off and fighting kaiju and stuff, that's not going to take the whole week. So the rest of your week is spent shuttling food from different communities to Far Hope. That's the narrative of what's going on in the game right now when we start the campaign. So the characters are going to be charged with moving food back and forth between the communities, and oh shit, kaiju are attacking. How long? We're going to roll a d6 to see how many hours are going to be there, and depending on where the characters are at on the map is going to determine how many hours it takes to get there. If the characters can get to the location that's being attacked before the kaiju leave, and we defeat the kaiju, then they aren't going to deal any damage to the community. If the kaiju are able to attack and get away before the team can get there, then the Bastion of the community has to defend themselves. So since the kaiju, and like the cloaker, for example, is considered a 3rd rank kaiju, that means it's going to have 1, 11, 20. It's going to have 21 points of. It's going to have 21 Bastion points worth of hit points to it when the siege team attack. Or if you don't want to resolve it in single die rolls, like that way you can make an ability check, and as long as you hit DC 20, you've successfully hit the cloaker, and now you'll do, because we're 2nd rank, we're going to deal D6 damage to it, and it's going to have a total of 21 points. It's going to last a while against you. Alternatively, because we're 2nd rank, we're going to have a number of siege weapons guarding the city. That's where that damage is coming from. But if you want to actually play it out in the community, then how many siege weapons does the community have? Have we determined how many siege weapons we have yet? Unique facilities, Barry Glen is the Bastion, is the government seat. Orders, Citadel, which is Far Keep. We have 57 troops in the barracks, and we have a Temple of the Open Hand, which is a monk facility. Doesn't look like we've established how many weapons are. And then we have the Mage Right Workshop. Is this still the Temple of the Open Hand? Right. And then there's a Mage Rights Workshop on that island as well. And then we move on to the next one, right? So we haven't actually established how many siege weapons are in the community. But like, say there's 3 siege weapons nearby, then we would roll a d20 plus 2 plus d6, and if that can hit the cloaker's armor class of 18, then they'll be able to deal damage to it, say 3d4 times 10 damage, and it has 198 damage. So if they're able to fend off and fight and then chase them off, we can deal that at the siege level, operating siege weapons, but they're so mobile, they'll be able to go from location to location to be able to try to dodge out of the siege weapon. I don't think that'd be a very fun combat, so I would default that instead to the Bastion die attempting to defend themselves. And if they were able to make enough rolls to be able to drive away, basically it'd be a DC 20. So if they can roll the D20 plus 2 plus D6 and they can hit the 20, they're able to chase off the kaiju threat without taking damage. If you don't hit that DC 20, then we'll automatically just take D8 points of damage, and then we'll, from the community, tear down a number of resources. And again, here's where we're at right now. It's already been damaged before from bad weather. But like if we take like say 6 points, like maybe the workshop, storehouse, guild hall, pub, each take a point of damage, and then like we tear down our lifestyle 2 points. So we're no longer comfortable. We're now living poor until we can repair all our facilities and remove that damage. So we would issue the repair order or maintain order to heal up everything, to rebuild as we need, and that would be since we're second rank, it'd be a D6. So we would automatically be able to heal D6 points of Bastion points each turn that we issue an order. And we only have a couple orders that we can issue each Bastion turn. So like we'd probably be able to like heal 2d6. And like that's all we could do, right? Like feed ourselves and do repair work for 2d6. That's all we can do this Bastion turn at this location. And if any of those die rolls go wrong, a new complication occurs, like something blows up, or we like the cloakers and dark mantles ate all the materials that we were going to use to repair this place, or we're being attacked by pirates now. Who knows? Who knows what it could be? It could be anything. Whatever we end up rolling. But that's kind of how the cycle works. If the team can get there before the kaiju are finished, then if they can defeat the kaiju in mecha combat, then they'll drive off the threat and the community is safe. If the team can't get there in time, then the community can make that die roll, and if they succeed, great, you're able to fight off the kaiju without you needing to be there. Good thing, because you couldn't do that adventure anyway. But if they fail the die roll, then they take the damage, and now they're operating with with reduced resources, which is going to make them more likely to have a complication next turn. So you might need to babysit them at your citadel, like to protect them from harm while their defenses are down, for instance. Or like there could be a big fire or something that displaces more people. Now you need to transport people from that community to another community where they can stay while everything is being repaired, for instance. So that's the idea. So let's, I haven't finished all of the bastions yet, so I think where we're at right now is we are inside Crag Falls. So we are looking at number 2, which is Crag Falls. It is in the process of mining an electrum mine. So we have the facilities that we have here. It's harvesting harvesting material. It's goat pastures, not goat pastures. So it's maintaining animal stock, like for furs and wool. Leather, wool, meat, the bones. They're using goats as an animal resource for creating food and materials for construction. And they've got the electrum mine they're actively harvesting to be able to create wealth to generate. They're trading that electrum with, like, say, if we Super Mario World over here, this community here, It's 1, 2, 3, 4, or rather 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8 squares away. So it takes a week for us to send materials from our facilities out to them, and then another week to come back. So we're loading up ore inside in Crag Falls. It's loading up on ore, and then we're periodically sending out shipments to sell off this ore to get materials and other stuff that we can't produce ourselves, establishing a trade route with that community. But there's pirates of Lazar that are located here. So if we come through if we come through the common lanes, we're going to get preyed on by pirates. If we want to avoid the pirates, we have to go out here into the poison sea to avoid them. And then there's going to be monsters out here that we have to deal with. So the team could decide, are we going to escort the next mission to avoid pirates, or are we going to trust them to take care of themselves and stay here to protect our own community? That's a choice that the players are going to have to make. If they decide to escort mission, that gives them a change of venue. They can see new exotic locations. They can broaden the campaign world gets a little bit bigger for them, which would be a nice change of pace. But if there's a lot of shit going wrong at home, they might not be able to spare that. So they'll then do a trade route mission, which is going to be another ability check as a trade order to send and return goods. And if they fail the die roll, this has a... Hold on, let's go back and look. Second rank. So for us to be able to... It might not be a second rank. The threat is going to be whatever the Pirates of Lazar present. So we'll probably have a variable between 1, 2, and 3. So I'll probably roll a d6. So if something goes wrong, that means they're going to run across something. If it's on the established lanes, it's going to be Pirates of Lazar, and that'll be a difficulty that'll range from 1 to 3. On a scale of 1 to 5, the DCs are 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Bounded accuracy curve of the 5e game engine as intended. So if it's a first rank threat, they only have to roll a 10 or better, no problem. But if it's a third rank threat, they have to roll a 20. And because we're only second rank as a mining guild, it's D20 plus 2 plus D6, and we have to hit a 20. So it's nowhere guaranteed. We only have like a 25% chance of pulling that off. Most likely we're going to fail and run into trouble. But if we go out of the established shipping lanes and decide to chance it in the poison sea, we might get an advantage on the die roll, but the range could be anywhere from 1 to 5. So if we do have a threat, I'm going to basically on a 1 to 5, we could roll a 25. And with us being second ranked, the maximum we can roll is 27. So if the threat is, say, a fourth ranked threat, a DC 25, we have to roll a 25, 26, or 27. Otherwise, we're going to fail. So it's highly likely we're going to fail and get attacked by horrible monsters. And given where we're at in the campaign right now, it's probably because of the Frisia Manifest Zone is full of colossal-sized ice elementals, anywhere from 10 feet to 500 feet or even 1,000 feet in size, that got dropped into these asteroids out here in the Poison Sea because the moon that's connected to the plane of Frisia had recently come through, and it was a full moon. And when the moon is full, it opens up a portal to that plane of existence in Eberron, and from that portal spilled out a legion of ice elementals for whatever reason. We don't know why they came through, but once they dropped out, they basically landed in this spot, like right here, right outside of our border. Like this is the line that Frisia runs along. So when Frisia dumped out a plane, it basically dumped into this area here. This is Furnia, the plane of fire. Ice and fire. We're located, horribly coincidentally, between the conflict of fire versus ice. So sometimes they'll drop a manifest zone here. Like if they drop the manifest zone here, it's going to get unnaturally hot around in this area. So we're going to have droughts. in the communities that are out here. But when the manifest zone from Frisia drops in here, it becomes unnaturally cold. So we have cold snaps that also kill our crops. So we're constantly in this state of, are we going to get frozen out or are we going to get cooked out? And so far, this is where everyone anchored because this region has a bunch of really useful ore. We got the Electrum ore here, and we've got iron ore over here. So this community is mining iron while this community is mining Electrum. So those are great resources that are needed. They're both in high demand out here in space. So this is a good place to drop anchor, and despite the hostilities of weather, it's been a good place for us to be able to build a community for, like, say, the past 50 years. We've built up some community, some homes here, regardless of the harshness of the conditions. But if we go on this, if we want to avoid, the pirates are new. They're a new threat. So if we want to avoid them, we can hopscotch through the poison sea, potentially running into ice elementals along the way, which could freeze out and capture our ship. So if we get signaled that they're under attack, because, sending stones, they can send us a message, hey, we're under attack. Now we need to go out here somewhere in the poison sea with our citadel to go rescue our lost Electrum mining, Electrum ore shipment. We have to rescue that so we can get our money, so we can complete our trade mission, so we can restock the supplies because we're short on food, and maybe this community out here has a shitload of food they can certainly provide for us, but they want our Electrum, so that's the deal that we have going. But now that's been disrupted by the ice elementals, so now we have to go fight them out in the poison sea. So let's get in our citadel and our mecha and go out there and fight giant size ice creatures until we can reclaim our cargo ship and then escort it to where it was supposed to go and then come back. That would be a fun little excursion mission that the team could go on. Or a rogue squad of ice elemental scouts breach our defenses somewhere over here. And now we have to send our citadel over here to go try to chase away the ice elementals that show up. Maybe they're trying to establish a new outpost here just outside of range of our communities. Now we're going to be in skirmishes between the ice elementals and our citadel every fucking week until we can chase them off. But if we chase them off, they could retreat back into the manifest zone, get a bigger posse, and now we have a bigger threat that's now rolling in, and they're going to claim all this area and potentially try to take over some of our communities. So we could potentially escalate hostilities and get into a war with elementals. That's a real threat to the campaign that the team has to navigate. And that's something that they can handle on the geopolitical level, or they can handle as individual characters go in and negotiate directly themselves if they wanted to. They'll have that option as players to decide what do they want to focus on. And if they aren't interested in the geopolitics of the ice elemental threat, then they could just default that to Capital Rock, sending envoys to negotiate with them as a skill check, and if it goes well, you're able to maintain peace or maybe even establish some sort of trade with them. If it goes badly, they get hostile, and now you have elemental threats, for instance, or maybe they capture your envoy, you have to go rescue them or whatever. So that presents new opportunities. Bastions are really a great way of being able to generate this Dominion style of play by default just by running your bastions, just by running your settlements. So the DMG describes Bastions. As I've been talking about, we've restructured Bastions to have 5 tiers instead of 4 that you can have as early as first level. It has a resource point we call Bastion points that you accumulate, and as you accumulate more Bastion points, your Bastion grows in rank. Your characters could either automatically get Bastion points as you level up as your treasure, or you could be running an actual treasure campaign, and if we scroll down here, at first rank, each Bastion point is worth 100 gold. If you get 1,000 gold, you can get 10 points. And then another 1,000 gold will get you that 11th point, and now you're operating at second rank, and you're now a second rank Bastion. And each Bastion point that you accumulate is worth 1,000 gold pieces. And as you continue accumulating ranks, the effective gold piece value becomes higher. It gets ridiculous. Everyone talks about you have too much gold in D&D, right? Well, this is going to eat all your gold, I guarantee it. By the time you get to 13th level into the 4th rank, you will not be able to afford a Bastion point. So when you go on quests, instead of getting piles of worthless gold, it's I'm going to go do this mission for this neighboring nation, and if I'm successful with it, they're going to give me 3 Bastion points. So I can then apply all those. I've now established a trade route and commerce with this other nation that's now benefiting me by getting 3 more Bastion points permanently that I just pump into my community. And now instead of, like, say, having 31 Bastion points, I'll now have 34 Bastion points that I can then use to purchase more facilities and expand the abilities of that community. So it just naturally builds this Dominion style of play where when you're getting Bastion, like, you can get Bastion points by trading with other communities, again, by looting monsters and gathering treasure. Like a Hammerhead ship, for example, is what, 60,000 gold. If I were able to sell that off, even for 30,000 gold, that would be worth 3 Bastion points if I'm already operating at 3rd rank, or if I'm at like 9th level. But if I'm 1st level and I'm able to auction off a Hammerhead ship, that's going to give me enough wealth for, say, to get the the complete 2nd rank. That's 10,000 gold. That'll get me to 3rd rank, 20,000 gold to get to 21 points, and then 30,000 gold to get 22 Bastion points. I now have 22 points, and I could, like, say, sell off that Hammerhead ship, and in exchange, I could buy, like, a decent size inn, or like a really good tavern on the Rock of Brawl, a 3rd rank inn capable of providing nutrition and home and trade resources and, like, convention center quality resort on the Rock of Brawl. Like, and that could become your base of operations, and now your Bastion turns are rotating around this resort that you purchased on the Rock of Brawl. So you can easily create these, and now everything you're dealing with now at that level is maintaining that resort on the Rock of Brawl, operating as a 3rd rank structure, or a 3rd rank Bastion. This facility is built inside of this theme of being a resort on the Rock of Brawl, which has a population of I think it has a population of 30,000. So it's effectively a town, a 3rd rank town. So it can support. It has enough resources unto itself to be able to support a 3rd rank Bastion, because it's a 3rd rank settlement. So your 3rd rank resort on the Rock of Brawl, the Rock of Brawl can produce the resources you need to make that thing work, because you're both 3rd rank. If your resort somehow escalated to being 4th or 5th rank, while the Rock of Brawl still had this small population and not enough resources to have, 4th, 5th, like, vast resources. It doesn't. It has to get fuel and resources occasionally from Faerun, right? So Faerun has the resources that the Rock of Brawl needs. Rock of Brawl has a trade route established, a number of different locations on Faerun, that is on a monthly basis bringing back resources to Selûne, to the Rock of Brawl. So if there was a 4th rank, say, resort on the 3rd rank Rock of Brawl, you then now need to establish a separate trade route on Toril with, like, say, Waterdeep, which is a 5th rank. It's a metropolis. It's got like 2 million people. That's a 5th rank settlement. So it has access to 5th rank materials and 5th rank resources that a 4th or 5th rank Bastion out in space would be able to establish a trade route with Waterdeep to be able to make sure you get the materials that you need to be able to hit the level of lifestyle and the size of population out there to be able to align. So the rank of your Bastion can't exceed the rank of the settlement. If it does, you have to go somewhere else to find something that can feed your 4th rank status. Otherwise, your Bastion is capped at 3rd rank in that community. So, like, if you establish a teleportation circle as one of your facilities in your Bastion, that would open a pathway for you to easily be able to go to Waterdeep to be able to trade goods, you can now afford to escalate beyond 4th, 5th level. That would also expand the scope of your campaign to go to Waterdeep if you wanted to operate on foot and deal with Waterdeep stuff, like somewhere like 20, 30 episodes into this campaign. We're like, we've been out here in space in a hell of a lot. Well, why don't we get that teleportation circle built, and now we can go to Waterdeep and actually operate on foot inside of Waterdeep like normal, with the idea of we're trying to take care of our community out in space. Well, it's an Eberron campaign, so it'd be Sharn, like probably Sharn or Thronehold or Zalargo, somewhere, anywhere, who knows? Assumedly Sharn. So once we're going to start at 2nd rank, and once we've accumulated enough points for 3rd rank, if we wanted to, we could establish that teleportation circle so that we can move back and forth between Sharn and our community to provide the things that we need to continue growing. But it also allows us to leave Spelljammer and operate on planet side as a normal Eberron Sharn campaign for a while, if we wanted to, just to be able to change up the venue. But everything would still be themed around we're protecting our asteroid community and providing what they need. So we have to go do this mission in Droam. So we're going to teleport to Sharn, take an airship out to Droam, deal with whatever fuckery we need to out there. Once we complete that mission, that'll resolve the complication we had with the order that we needed to complete to get the materials that we needed out to our asteroid community. So that's how you can, again, build a progressive campaign. So we're looking at point values. We're building Crag Falls. Crag Falls, again, here on our map, we know number 2, Crag Falls is largely focused on Electrum mines and herding goats. That's where their food comes from. The rock has a population of 346 people. It is on a rock that's 27 miles in diameter. So it's anything that's larger than 10, basically anything larger than 10 miles in size is big enough to have spherical gravity. A very small planet, but still technically a planet. It's a planetoid, right? If it's smaller than 10 miles in size, it has linear gravity or planar gravity, like a Spelljamming ship, an upside and downside, which is still perfectly good for a community, but its size is limited. It was super, like something that's massive in size like that. If it was like a 50-foot piece of slate out there, it would still, it would feel like planar gravity because it was such a long, thin Oumuamua type object, but it technically would have spherical gravity. So instead of pushing things away from it, like a plane, like a normal gravity plane would, it's so massive that it pulls things to it. Like normal spherical gravity pulls things to it. Planar gravity naturally pushes things away from it. That's the difference in the two types of gravity fields in the Spelljammer campaign as written, in Spelljammer's Adventures in Space, or even so far back as the 2nd edition. But in this system, anything bigger than 10 miles becomes spherical gravity. Unless DM says not, but normally it would. Like anything that massive automatically pulls things to it. Let's see. Okay, so what communities do we have? It's Crag Falls is rank 2. We already established it has 13 Bastion points. Here's how those 13 points have been spent. It is we rolled the first turn that starts. Their lifestyle is poor right now. They're inside this massive cold snap from Physia, and it's a mining community that people are leaving for warmer air, like out here outside this border. This is where it's unnaturally cold. It is cold. Crops are dying. Trees are dying. Goats are angry. It is cold. So people are migrating away from this area out to 4, 5, and 6. So we're seeing that migration happen. So that's why we're explaining when we made our we make a Bastion check, D20 plus 1 since we're second rank is D20 plus 2 plus the D6 because we're second rank, the proficiency die. All we rolled was I think it was a 13. So that means that 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, poor, modest, comfortable, wealthy, aristocratic, right? And if you have a squalid or wretched level of lifestyle, it means it's unsafe. It creates complications. So we failed our check because we didn't roll a 10. So not only do we have like this wretched and squalid lifestyle, which is outlined in the player's handbook, but now we have an additional complication because of civil unrest. And that may not be something the players are interested in doing as an adventure. So it'll probably have to be resolved as a Bastion check, attempting to resolve civil unrest. So, and then that would become an order that we would have to carry out and if they fail that, then civil unrest escalates. If they succeed the roll, then they're able to quell the civil unrest. And then next Bastion turn, we can roll again to see if our lifestyle improves. If it gets worse, we're going to have more civil unrest. If it improves, we're good. So that's our lifestyle. We aren't currently spending any points on it. But if we did as a second rank facility, if we go down to maintaining a lifestyle, here we go, harvest, maintain. At the beginning of each Bastion turn, the Bastion makes a maintain Bastion check without expending. It's basically, you automatically get to do this to determine the quality of lifestyle of the Bastion until the beginning of the next Bastion turn. So here's our die rolls. Again, if we rolled a 0 or above, it could be wretched, 5 or above, squalid, 10 or above, poor, modest, blah, 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 blah. And if that's the effective rank or difficulty of performing, the effective rank is important. Like, for example, if we want to recruit somebody that's, say, a 5th rank artificer to create legendary magic items for us in our 5th rank workshop, in our 5th rank Bastion, for us to recruit him, that artificer, we would have to be able to demonstrate or currently maintaining an aristocratic lifestyle to say, hey, we can afford you, come here. So as we gain ranks, we have to have new hirelings in our facilities. So for us to be able to escalate from a 1st to 2nd rank workshop, for instance, we have to recruit additional hirelings because each rank of workshop requires a larger size and more hirelings to operate it. And as we escalate in levels, those hirelings are also going to be higher rank to be able to utilize the resources in this higher rank facility to be able to create bigger and better effects, like empowering 1st rank common, 2nd rank uncommon, rare, very rare, legendary magic items. If I want to make rare magic items, I have to have a 3rd rank facility capable of building it that is manned or is being operated by 3rd rank hirelings capable of operating at that level, which means that we have to be able to maintain a comfortable lifestyle. Like, we can't recruit those hirelings to then operate those facilities if we have a modest or a poor lifestyle. If I want to recruit people of 3rd rank, when I perform the recruit action, I have to have a comfortable lifestyle. And if I fail the die roll, it might be like the complication is you guys are too grubby. I need you to have a wealthy lifestyle to impress me, which is a 4th rank activity. I now have a complication that requires a DC 20 die roll, and I just failed a DC 15 die roll because I can't maintain a comfortable lifestyle. Oh shit, that's a 25 because I couldn't maintain a comfortable DC 20 lifestyle. Now I have to make it even higher. So I failed at 20. How likely am I going to succeed at 25? If I keep failing at this, I might have to send the characters out as an adventure to try to recruit this guy. And then it becomes something like, yeah, I'd love to help you guys out, but I've got this mafia thing going on. I have to work for them, otherwise they'll kill my family. And wouldn't you know it, that mafia is appropriate for like 13th level characters to go in and take out. And so we take out that mafia, causing an underworld grudge that could crop up as new complications in the future. But we resolved that threat, and now we don't have to worry about the wealthy lifestyle. We resolved all of it because we created the actual reason. He wanted a wealthy lifestyle because that would provide the level of security that he needed to make his family safe to get away from the mafia. But since you just went in there and you squashed the mafia, I don't have to worry about that anymore. And in fact, I am very appreciative. I'm going to work with you because I owe you gratitude. And that opens the pathway to resolve the complication. And this is something that the players and the DM can work on together to establish what does this storyline look like. And so the players can work with the DM to define what this complication is so that they can take ownership in what's actually happening in the world, help co-DM with you so that they have buy-in and ownership, just like what kind of a campaign do you guys want? Well, we all want a Western campaign. Yeah, we want to be sheriffs in a campaign. We want to be sheriffs in a Western town. It's like, cool, we could do like Threshold in Eberron, the Wild West expansion that Keith Baker came out with. It's like, yeah, that'd be awesome. Now everyone's excited about being sheriffs in Threshold. They bought in on building that. Now they're building characters that's like, I imagine my sorcerer as a sheriff this way, and my barbarian as a sheriff this way. And so you now have this posse of deputies that are protecting Threshold, for example. Similarly with this, as you're creating these complications in the communities, if the players get involved in developing what that complication is, the DM can then add in surprises and special sauce with it. But the team is now committed. We built this complication because we built it to lean into our character background stories and resolve plot lines. Like, I know my dad works with the Pirates of Lazar and I'm estranged. Well, the ships that he commands are now starting to raid these cities in our community. So if we go confront them, I'm going to take on my dad head to head, which is something I want to do as a character. So I can set up with the DM, build out this scenario so that we're creating these stories about our characters through what's happening in the community. And that just creates more player engagement and buy-in so they can take ownership of the campaign with you on a weekly basis. And that very, like, it's trendy now, like for players to have that level of engagement. But it was always that way. It's just a matter of, does your table lean into those ideas or don't they? That was what the original Dominion style of play in the Expert and Companion box set of first edition, D&D, old Beckme BX style OSR movement. That's what D&D was about. Your characters grew in power to the point where they could start amassing armies and creating kingdoms. And then those kingdoms and armies resolved complications and had this Dominion style of play, like Civilization 4X style. But we are now translating all that narrative mechanics into this Bastion campaign system to be able to use the D20 5e game engine to execute all those mechanics. And 5e is such a fucking great engine to do that with. It's shame that 5e is falling out of favor in the communities because there's so much we could do with the 5e game engine. I keep seeing people build like army mechanics and kingdom builder mechanics supposedly for 5e, but they don't actually use the 5e game engine to do it. Like the most popular Bastion, like kingdom builder, like armies and kingdoms and stuff like that, the most popular ones that have made millions of dollars in Kickstarters don't use the 5e game engine, even though they're supposedly for 5e games. This is an actual 5e game engine where you're using 5e game mechanics in your 5e game that completely synchronizes with how your characters actually develop. It uses the same mechanics that your character uses at these different tiers of play. It's a shame that no one else has really leaned into this idea or cared to figure out how to make it work. But God, the 5e game engine is so powerful. It's 10 years in, and all the big companies, everyone that makes shitloads of money, have barely cracked open what you can actually do with that game engine. And it's a fucking shame that instead of people leaning into like how can we make this game feel like old school, they're like, fuck it, let's just go play old school, and ditching the game system. It's such a wasted opportunity for Wizards of the Coast to have abandoned this entire style of gameplay, even though it's so easy for us to be able to build it. I mean, if you check out my Bastion Campaign playlist, I've got about 80 episodes of us building out this entire book. And again, if you want to look at it, you are welcome to join me on my... hey, guys, thanks a lot for a bunch of people being here right now. Here's all the mechanics that I'm looking at right now. It's read-only, but it's a Google Doc. I've literally been building it here on screen with you guys for the past year. I've already been running a Spelljammer campaign with my home table in Eberron. They run an asteroid mining facility. I talk about it a lot in the other channels. Yeah, all these mechanics that we're working on right now. These are all books that are available. Here's my Discord community, free access. Jump on in. I'll be running this campaign that we're building. This Spelljammer thing that we've been working on. I plan on launching this in February. And if I can get 4 people that are willing to play with me every week, I'll run it for like 8 months, just to have an 8-level campaign, something like that, just to kick through it, just to have some fun. I know the Bastion system works because I've been running with it for over a year now at my other table, but it's time for a second opinion, and we wanted to build out these mecha mechanics. So what a great excuse. So this is going to be one of the next, once our Eberron adventure that we've been writing, that we've been illustrating in the mornings, Monday through Friday, we do illustrations in the morning. And then on Monday and Thursday nights and Saturday mornings like this, we do game design for the books that we're publishing. So I make a book, I build campaigns, I play test them as a DM to make sure that they're fun, get feedback from the team, make sure that they think they're cool. If it's a viable thing, we then build out the book. And then we do the layouts, and then we do all the illustrations here online. And once it's finished, we publish it on the DMsGuild. And then we start the next project. You can see us. There was maybe a 300 episode, the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration document that we created here on DMsGuild. There's I think a 300 episode playlist on my channel of us building the Spelljammer book, all the mechanics. And then all the artwork for the book, and then we published it. And that's the book that we've been thumbing through here during our demonstrations. So this is already live on the DMsGuild. The book has 100% free preview, but it's got like 120 assets, like ship tokens, Toril maps, like of realm space, as well as all the assets for Light of Zaraxis, all the ships, the creatures, the system maps for Doom space. Zaraxis space. It has unique challenges using the 5e combat method that we built for Spelljammer here. But there's so many cool ways you can use the 5e game engine. It's just such a shame that it's not being leaned into and that's not being developed by people that have actual resources to be able to build these things out. It's me. I'm the guy. I'm the guy that's doing this shit. So for whatever stupid reason, it's just me and my shoestring budget working part-time as a side hustle, trying to do everything that a multi-million-dollar company should be doing, but they don't. So this is my love letter to the genius of what the 5e game engine is to a company that doesn't know their ass from their elbow. So I'll eventually be done with all the Spelljammer, Magic the Gathering, Bastion mechanic stuff that I've been building here on stream for the past few years, and I think I'll have all that done in 2027. But once I do, I'll probably move into Kickstarters. I'll be doing a lot of stuff on my Patreon, and then I'll probably be moving into Kickstarters. So if you think this shit is cool, I'm literally just getting started. It's just working by myself. It takes a while. So if you think this shit is cool, I'll be doing this for quite some time. So let's see. We are looking at. Right, Crag Falls. So we have the smithy. Since it's goat pastures and electro mines, the electro mine has the smithy, the guild hall, the workshop. The goat pastures portion of it has stables for roughly like goats, right? And storehouse. The storehouse is for materials, harvesting materials, both goat pasture and electro mine. That then allows us to trigger trade for different types of materials that we need to build shit. So these, get out of here. I don't care about your updates. Thank you. So 22, this has 13 points. A bastion is, here we are, here and then here. To have a settlement, you need a central point of power, a capital building, as it were. And so for us to have a capital building, we need two things: a government facility and a settlement facility. So the settlement has 5 ranks from a hamlet to a village to a town to a city to a metropolis. Waterdeep is a 5th rank settlement. Let's say Rock of Brawl has I think 30,000 people on it. So it is a town. A town has a hamlet has a maximum of 100, a village has a maximum of 1,000, a town has a maximum of 10,000, a city has a maximum of 100,000, and a metropolis has more than 100,000. So the Rock of Brawl, I think has 8,000 people on it, so it's only a town, 3rd rank. While say, I'm trying to think of a community, like what's a good community? Threshold, for example, in Eberron, I think it has a population of 900, so that's less than 1,000. It's only a village. It's 2nd rank. You can't get a teleportation out there yet. It's not established enough. You could get a lightning rail out there. Lightning rails are 2nd rank constructions, but a teleportation circle is 3rd rank. So we can get a lightning rail out the Threshold, and they're starting to expand on that into Droam, but until Threshold expands enough with a large enough population, it doesn't warrant a teleportation circle yet. But give it time, it'll grow. And that's a cool thing about new campaigns like that. So the government facility allows us to have enough administrative bureaucracy infrastructure to maintain law. So we can build a book of laws and then have the ability to have a constitution and all that other shit for how a government should work. So that's its own facility. And then once you have a government facility, you need to have a settlement facility. And a settlement, instead of the facility being inside the Bastion, a settlement facility is outside the Bastion. So you establish a government, and then depending on how large the settlement is, settlements. Multiple bastions can be built and maintained. So when you establish a settlement, multiple bastions can be built and maintained independently or collectively within a settlement, as detailed in the settlement section down below. And bastions attract creatures and NPCs to become residents of the settlement, as detailed in the settlement section down below as well. And you can issue the unique order of harvesting. So you can issue the harvest order to acquire animal, mineral, or plant materials for crafting and empowering items of a rarity or value equal to the rank of the facility. So 1st rank, like we said, is common, uncommon, rare, very rare, legendary. And there's a price point in the DMG for each of those. Common items are up to 100 gold. Uncommon are up to 400 gold, 4,000 gold, 40,000 gold, 200,000 gold. So, depending on the rank of your facility, will determine if it's a mundane item, what rank do you need to be to have the skill and resources to be able to build that thing. If a hammerhead ship costs 80,000 gold, then I need to be 5th rank to be able to make that ship efficiently. A lower rank organization could potentially build it if they can hit the DC, but like say a 3rd rank workshop has a cap of 4,000 gold. So if a 80,000 gold ship needs to be built by a 3rd rank facility, it can only do it in 4,000 chunks each week. So it'll be 20 weeks before they have the hammerhead ship built. But if I had a 5th rank shipyard that had magic out the ass, like Sharn, like Zalargo, making spelljamming ships as a 5th rank facility, would be able to crack one of those out. Like, they have a conveyor belt, they're just rolling out hammerhead ships. Let's go to space, guys. Let's do this. Like, they could roll that shit out fast. Because they're a higher rank, they can dump more resources into building something. A spelljamming helm is 4,000 gold. That's a rare magic item. If you have a 3rd rank workshop, you could build spelljammer helms to then create that fleet. You could, at 3rd rank, build these ships, but it would take, with a 3rd rank, again, 4,000 gold, it'll take you a lot longer to build the ship than it will be to build the helm that's going to eventually pilot it. But you can certainly build 50-foot firecrafts pretty quickly. Those are like 1,000, 2,000 gold. You can probably make a couple of those a week. So the campaign scales up with your resources, right? So you have to have resources of equal rank to what you're trying to build. If I want to build a 5th rank ship, I need to be able to get access to 5th rank materials. So that means I have to find a settlement that's harvesting 5 rank materials. So I need to go find a large commerce hub to be able to create such an exotic vessel. That's a high-end thing that we're building, as opposed to scrappy little X-Wings or whatever, like little field hoppers that only cost a couple thousand to build. Yeah, any material will work. A third, like a town of 10,000 could provide the resources that you need to make fighter craft that are 50 feet or smaller. And they could afford to make them because the minor helms only cost 400 gold. Because minor helms are only 400 gold, major helms are 4,000 gold. So now we understand the need for settlements, because settlements provide the materials that bastions use to build stuff or to empower magic items. You have to get the resources from an equal rank settlement to the rarity or value of the thing that you're trying to build. So you have to have settlements, and you have to establish trade routes with those settlements, or you have to build your facilities in that settlement to get access to that material. If you're in the settlement, you get access to those materials for free. If you're outside of the settlement, you have to establish a trade route, which will eat up bastion points for you to build that route and create a link. Like if you need 5th rank materials and you're outside of the reach of the 5th rank settlement where you're getting those materials from, you have to spend 5 bastion points to establish a 5th rank trade route between you and the settlement that's providing those materials. And every month or season, it might be seasonal, I forget offhand, but every now and again, you're going to have to re-roll that check to see, did something go wrong with that trade route? If something went wrong, like 5th rank, you have to roll a DC 30. You only have, like, at best, a 1 in 4 chance of being able to hit that, which means you're probably going to run into a problem, which creates a complication that you do not want to ignore, because all of a sudden you can't make your legendary magic items because our feed just got cut off. We can't make that shit anymore until we reestablish that connection. So now we have to send our heroes out to deal with a level 17 threat that's disrupting our trade route. So that's the idea. That's the importance and value of a settlement providing these resources. That's why you want to have them. So you have a bastion, you build the administration inside of that bastion capable of running a population to keep it organized and lawful so it doesn't destroy itself. And then you establish the settlement that creates the land that now settlers can come in and build their own structures inside of that community, creating their own bastions. And then you can tax those bastions. Once they get to 2nd rank, they can afford to give you a bastion point. So everyone that you let in as a own independent bastion can be paying taxes to that settlement to then use to pay for that trade route. They don't have enough bastion points to pay for another trade route. So they're going to tax craft shops, for instance. You want the trade route? We're going to charge you, between all of you, we're going to generate, say, 6 bastion points. So we can now spend those to create 2 different trade routes, one to get the materials that we need for minerals, and another one for the plant materials that we need, and we're already generating the animal materials that we need to be able to create these different things. If I need leather armor, I have to have access to leather, which is an animal material. So I would then have to have animal materials of the rank. Like if I'm making exotic, legendary leather magic armor that I have to build from scratch, then I'm going to have access to that 5th rank empowering facilities and 5th rank materials to actually build it with. So there you go. Right. So that's what these harvest materials. That's what that's all about. So, and these are the different. I'm not gonna bore you guys with the benefits. You can watch last episode to read through what these benefits mean. But when we last left off, we were building unique bastions. So each bastion, the rank of the bastion, you're going to have a unique bastion, like the bastion that's the government. That's your hub of power. Like, for example, in Scaver's Cove, one of the smaller fishing communities, its seat of power is in the bait shop. The bait shop and the Fishermen's Guild doubles as the seat of government because fishermen run that town. So the docks where everyone parks their boat is at the fishing shop, which also then therefore by default becomes the government for that small fishing town. So everyone just goes to the fishing shop, and that's where all the documents and like boat registration and shit like that's already at. It was just easy for them to add in like the housing file and keep track of population and stuff like that. It just naturally evolved. It was easy. So we have a government bastion that we need to create, and each settlement has a number of unique bastions. How many do they have? It's, hold on, 1, 2, 3. What was that? It was 1, the mining refinery, and governing bastion, and that's in Redstone, which is second rank. So we have the government we have the government bastion, and then depending on the rank of your settlement, that many unique bastions, like separate facilities, right? In the settlement itself, in the town of Crag Falls, there's a smithy, there's a storehouse, there's a guild hall, there's a barracks for the city guard, there's town guard, there's stables, there's workshop. Lifestyle is a meta currency, right? But these aren't specific like unique bastions. They're facilities that are under control by the government bastion that is established. Basically, these are things that the settlement paid for with taxes to establish these locations. If the players want to, they could get really involved in the guild hall. And then they'd be able to start building out the guild hall if they wanted to as a unique bastion that they themselves overtake as a second rank bastion, because it's already a second rank guild hall. So if they wanted to get really involved in Crag Falls guild politics, they could create a bastion that contains the second rank guild hall plus whatever other facilities that they want. Kind of like the fisher's bait shop, the fishing shop. That just naturally evolved into the government bastion that oversees everything, because that's where everyone was going anyway. Similarly, the characters could like really geek out in the workshop if they wanted to, or the smithy, or they could combine the smithy and the workshop and make those part of their bastion to then directly oversee themselves and to take responsibility for as players. But all these things operate on their own inside the settlement without any complication or concern at all until the players start paying attention to it. Once the players pay attention, just like in natural D&D campaigns, whatever the players pay attention to becomes a focal point of trouble. Whatever the players look at, that's where the DM puts problems. That's where the monsters go. That's where the complications arise. That's where the disasters occur. That's where the gods smite, because that's where the players are going. Well, then we gotta. If this was a TV show, whatever town the brothers in Supernatural go to, that's where the next monster's at, because that's why they are there. The plot line automatically revolves around the focus of the players. That's the style of a Hex Crawl or West March or Dominion style campaign, all the way back to the days of Beckme. So we're reintroducing that flavor. So these aren't important until they become important. Like, let's say the team wants to build a hammerhead ship. There's a workshop and a smithy, so we could build it. We have the crafting orders. We could do that, but it's an 80,000 ship. It's an 80,000 gold ship, and a first rank smithy and a first rank workshop can only produce 100 gold worth of material any given week. So it's going to take 800 weeks for them to build that 800 times 100. Yeah, 80,000. It's going to take them It's going to take them 800 weeks to make that ship. They should not be building it here. They need to go somewhere else to get that ship. Or they dump all of their character resources into expanding the smithy and the workshop over the next 7 or 8 bastion turns to make it a powerhouse out of nowhere. And now it's outscaling the community. but they're creating a new center of power. Now Crag Falls is like the darling of the community because that's where the players are focusing all their attention because they think Crag Falls is cool. So whatever the players think is cool, the DM leans into and expands. This is what this system allows you to do. So like we want to make ballistas for our Dwarven Citadel. We would not do it here because a ballista costs 500 gold. And 400 gold, and they can only do 100 gold a week. So it's going to take a month for us to get one fucking ballista. No, let's just go somewhere else. Let's go to Redstone. They can do 4,000 gold a week, so they can easily crack out a like they have. Oh shit! No, Redstone doesn't have any. Oh wait, maybe they have a unique barracks. Maybe they have a unique bastion. Mining refinery. No, that won't do it. Plantation. Nope, we can't build. We can't build siege weapons in either one of those places. What about Fell Tower? They're only first rank. Fuck those guys. Far Hope, second rank. Nope. The only place that can really provide for us is going to be Capital Rock. Capital Rock is... Where'd you go, buddy? Oh, we haven't built out Capital Rock yet. We need to do that still. Okay, we'll get to it. But it's a third rank community. So it will be able to produce ballistas for us quickly. So we want to make sure that there's a smithy and there's a workshop of third rank to be able to build cool shit quickly. Let's see. So let's stay on course. We're building bastions. We're building inside of Crag Falls. We have the Capitol building, and then we have the settlements. We need two more. We need two more unique bastions. Bastion number 1 and bastion number 2. What time is it? It's 8:30. Cool, we've got time. Bastion number 2. Let's see. So we still have to build the government. It's second rank. So second rank is going to have anywhere from 21 to 30 points. So I'm just going to roll some dice. I rolled a 3, so it's going to be 13 points. Governing Bastion. What's the format that we use for a Bastion, for the Governing Bastion? Hold on. Governing Bastion, Fell Tower Fortress. There it is. So I'm going to do a quick screenshot here. There. So we can reference this format. We go in here to build our Governing Bastion. Governing Bastion of Crag Falls. And we need to give it a name. Second rank 13 BP. Fell Tower is first rank, so we only need a first rank government and a first rank settlement. That's where it's at right now. Since Red's Crag Falls is what I want. Good. Since Crag Falls is second rank, the bastion that oversees it has to be second rank. If the settlement outscales the government, there's civil unrest, and the government fractures. Whatever population is beyond the scope of, like at second rank, we can only deal with a population of 1,000. If the population scales up past 1,000, we now have complications in the form of civil unrest. We have a faction rival that's now starting to develop to contest against the power of the seated government because the population is now expanding too quickly for the community to absorb naturally. It's outscaling, you see? So that creates complication, splinter groups, rival factions, civil unrest, and potential adventure for players if they're into city campaigns. That's a great way. Like flooding a zone with new immigration or large expansion. that's a great way to create civil unrest, to be able to create adventures around resolving that civil unrest peacefully, violently, for or against the established government, support or against the new faction government starting to expand power. There's a lot of different type of political intrigue, like city politics, that you can play inside of that simple mechanic. And we have all those rules established here in this book to deal with that. It's called that's a sabotage. When you attack a community, you can either siege them by storming it with shitloads of troops and just burning everything to the ground and killing everyone, or you can sabotage, where you're targeting specific facilities and damaging them. And since a facility basically has one bastion point per rank, a second rank government facility only has 2 bastion points. A saboteur only has to roll a DC 15 to disrupt normal government operations in the settlement of Crag Falls. So if Crag Falls expands too quickly, the civil unrest is going to overtake the community quickly. They only have 346 people. If we suddenly swelled the population to over 1,000, pushing it into third rank size population, that is going to absolutely crush what Crag Falls can currently handle. That is going to be a massive upset. So it's really like the system is so elegant in being able to create these different frames of very realistic world scenarios that we're all seeing in the paper. We can translate this into government takeovers, civil unrest, hostile takeovers, mergers between corporations, corporations acting as governments in like little puppet third world countries. It's super applicable in the geopolitical world, as real as you want to get, creating adventures for fantasy characters. But okay, so let's see. Unique bastions, government. We need to establish what is the name of this. Where did my bit go? This is supposed to be up here. Like that. Okay, now we're back online. So where are we going to make this government building? Well, we already have a bunch of facilities that naturally align with what wants to get done in Crag Falls. This is the kind of community that needs to operate for this goat pasture thing to work. We have stables, which supports goat pastures. We could have a menagerie, which is also another facility that helps with harvesting animal materials. So let's go to the Bastion Campaign supplement. Again, this is linked in the description down below. Let's go to our list of facilities. Here's all the facilities that are in the player's hand, in the DMG, plus a bunch of more that we created and have been translated. I'm really looking forward to the Artificer coming out tomorrow, because they have new facilities in there. And I suspect on Thursday, when we're back here doing Spelljammer Bastion stuff again, I think we're going to take a quick tangent, and on Thursday night, we're going to translate the Bastion facilities in Eberron into this mechanical structure as examples of how we can expand on the facilities that already exist here. So how many do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait a second. We're second rank, so we can only have up to second rank facilities, but we're going to randomly roll a facility and make that facility the heart of what this independent bastion is that has become the government for that for this community. So skipping the war room, which is a 4th rank facility. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip the teleportation circle. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, skip. 11, 12, skip. 13, skip. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, skip. 19, 20, 21, skip. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So there's 26 facilities that we could randomly roll into. How can I divide that up into a die roll from 1 to 26? If I did What if I did 5d6 minus 4? That would take us from 1 to 26. So let's do 5d6 because the maximum number is 30 minus 4 equals 26. And if I 5d6, 5 minus 4 is 1. So let's put a note in here. There. So we now have established the random facility can be for second rank. There you go. Rank. Roll. Like that. There. And I don't know. Do you guys want me to resolve this dice pool right now, or just leave it be and come back to something else? If anyone wants to drop in the chat, if they want me to spend time creating the die rolls for these, I will. Otherwise, I'll just leave it till some other time. But if you want to have a little word in on what we're going to do right now, be welcome. In the meantime, I'm going to roll 5d6 and see what our answer is. And we're going to go ahead and develop this bastion from scratch. 6, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ooh, a menagerie. Isn't that a crazy miracle? I just mentioned a menagerie. All right, so this government is going to be menagerie. Menagerie. And if there's anybody in chat that's interested, you are welcome to spit out ideas for the names of this community. Name? It's going to be a menagerie. Let's go look at what menageries are. Menagerie. So what can a menagerie do? When issuing a harvest order to acquire animal materials, you can roll an additional bastion die equal to the rank of this facility. So that means I get to roll 2 6-sided dice instead of 1 6-sided die when I issue the harvest order to collect materials to do stuff. We keep the, and when we roll those 2 dice, we keep the highest result. We don't add them up. It's just the best die result. You see that in my martial powers system a lot. Downtime activities. Resistance training. A character that spends a bastion turn of downtime activity using this facility gains resistance to one type of damage appropriate to one of the creatures recruited here. The resistance remains for a number of bastion turns equal to the rank of the facility. For example, if a rank 1 menagerie has recruited a magman, you can spend a bastion turn of downtime activity training with the magman, gaining fire resistance at the end of the turn that will remain active for 1 bastion turn. You can issue the order to recruit, which is you can issue the recruit order to attract a local creature to act as a hireling that can also accompany your characters on adventures as an adept, expert, or warrior sidekick, as detailed in the issuing order section below. So, first rank, that means we can recruit first rank creatures. We have second rank menagerie, which means we can recruit second rank creatures. A first rank creature is any creature up to CR 1. Second rank creatures are any creature up to CR 2 to 5. And then 6 to 9. And then 10 to 13 is fourth rank. And then CR 14 plus is fifth rank menagerie. So like a Merilith, for example, I think a CR 15, you would need to have a fifth rank facility to be able to court the fancy of a Merilith demon to be part of your bastion. But at that point, you have a fifth rank bastion. You're effectively 17th level character operating as a team, as an organization. Like probably have ties with demons to get that far already anyway. So you having like a Merilith scribe on hand, like, might make perfect sense. Like if you read the oh crap, the Temple of Elemental Evil and White Plume Mountain and the Demon Web Pits, Paul Kidd. The Paul Kidd Greyhawk novels back in the early 90s, like 91, 92. There was a Merilith NPC that the team ran into more than a couple times. Super, God, those Paul Kidd novels are amazing. Yeah, Justicar, Enid, Estrad, and Poke, and then Cinder's the living Hellhound Pelt. God, that team is so fun. Those are amazing books. Highly recommend. Great shenanigans. I would love to see those animated. God, that would be such an awesome series. Anyway, look them up. They're worth your time. They're on Audible audiobooks. They're worth your time. Paul Kidd, just Paul Kidd Greyhawk Adventures. You should be able to find it. So we recruit monsters, and if we have monsters in the facility, we can then gain resistance training that aligns with what those monsters are. And we can also harvest animal materials more easily with Menagerie. So we're using Menagerie is going to be our hub. So Menagerie theme. We're going to put in parentheses here that this is the theme of the place. So we have 13 Bastion points. We already have 6 of them tied up. Pocket is a term of just free-floating points that we can just spend to issue additional orders or to resolve complications, to establish new orders that we're maintaining over time, to establish a lifestyle. So pocket equals, typically I put 3 Bastion points into the pocket. So that's 9 points already, so we only have 2 points left over. So what are the other 2 points that we might have? Let's go back to our table here and let's roll some more dice. And again, if anyone in the comments anywhere wants to drop in word an idea of like what you would want the name of this menagerie facility that's also our government, what we might want the name of this place to be, you are welcome to pipe in. But maybe something will start to evolve here as we add another 2 facilities. So we're going to add in another facility, and I rolled a 10. So Menagerie was 13, so let's go back down to that. 13, 12, 11, 10, laboratory. So we also have a laboratory. Is it going to be second rank? No. So laboratory is only going to be first rank. That frees up another point. Let's roll again. 13, another menagerie. Let's re-roll. This is 18. So we know the menagerie is 13. 13, 14, 15, 16, 18. Settlement. Well, we already have a settlement. So let's just push up the smithy. Sure. Smithy. Is that Smithy first rank or second rank? First rank? Yeah, it's first rank. So second rank, we have 1 more to roll. And we got a... Jesus. 8, 18, 23. So this was 18, 19, 20, 21... 23. Training. Ooh, a training area. Cool. So these are the primary facilities that are inside of this governing bastion. It has a government, it has a settlement. We already have a monk theme on another one of the asteroids as a free-floating temple. Do we want to lean further into monks, or do we want to go in another direction? We have a druid sanctum on one of the asteroids. We have a monk fighting temple on one facility. This is a mining colony. Would monks be appropriate? Let's go. Is it monks? Yes? No, it's not monks. What if it was a like dwarven legionnaires or something along those vibes? Yeah, the dice like that idea. The dice say yes. So dwarves, we already have goats. So dwarves riding war rams is not an unusual theme, right? Anyone that's seen Return of the King would know that. Is that what we got going on here? Battle? Nope, not going with battled goats. We're gonna go with something different. Is it an exotic creature of some sort? It is an exotic creature of some sort. Is it scavers? Do they ride scavers? Yes, they do. Okay, well, anyone that was here on the load-in screen. Here's some space scavers that we have that have knights mounted on them with force lances. So if we wanted to have a small marine force, we could have a scaver legion of dwarven scaver riders that are somehow traditional soldiers for this community. So let's go ahead and establish that. So the name of this place is the Governing Bastion, 2nd rank, 13 BP. This could tie in with the Dwarven Citadel that we have. So this could be the traditional place. Maybe our Citadel used to be a chunk of Electrum Rock itself that broke off of one of the asteroids that's being mined in Crag Falls. So we now have this Scaver Legion. How about we call this... We have Scaver Cove already, which is a community. Maybe they're Gray Scavers? No. What's the lowest CR Scaver? Brown Scaver. I think Void Scaver are high level. Gray Scaver. Night Scaver. Brown Scaver. Brown Scaver is CR4. So that's 2nd rank. There we go. Brown Scavers. Brown, huh? How about I'm trying to think of something involving sharks and dwarves. How about we're on Crag Falls. Hammertooth? How about that? Nope. Hammertooth sounds stupid. How about Finforge? Nope. I'm rolling dice. If I roll high, if I have one die, the closest die to me is the start number. The die further away from me is end die. If the end is higher than if the far die is higher than the close die, the answer is yes to my yes or no questions. If the far die is lower than the result of this die, the answer is no. So equal to or higher, or lower than. So if the die roll is equal to or higher than the other die, the answer is yes. So it didn't like Finn Hall. What am I looking for? Fang, maybe. Brown Hollow? Hates that. I already have Scaver Cove as a name, so I can't utilize that. This is Crag Falls. How about Shark Ram? 5/3. How about Ram? Is Ram? Okay, it doesn't like Ram either. How about Finn? Is Finn something to do with it? No. How about Hunt? It likes Hunt. So how about is it Hunter's Lodge? Hunter's Lodge, okay. So we'll do that. Hunter's Lodge. There. Government, settlement, menagerie, brown scavers, laboratory, smithy. Yeah, so that's what that, oops. Come back here. Thank you. Okay, so I'm okay with that. And what are the orders that we're issuing here? So we have a lifestyle. Oh shit, we're out of points. Let's go ahead and hit our lifestyle. So we have the government, which is going to give us an extra die. So we're going to roll a d20 plus 2 plus 2d6. And we got a 7. Holy shit, that sucks. So this is a squalid lifestyle currently. I rolled a 7. That sucks. So we're gonna have some civil unrest up in here. Harvest, mineral, harvest, mineral, electrum, and the other harvest order equals animal. Goat meat. Goats. That 7 is bad fucking news for us, man. Yeah, so we have an unsafe community right now. It is under such civil unrest that it is not stable. Things are being broken into. There's looting that's happening. This is because it's in that cold snap zone. We saw here this darkened area here. This is the manifest zone from Frisia, the frozen realm. So this area is cold snapping hard. So we're finding that this, closest to the manifest zone's core, is freezing fastest. That's why there's a lack of food, civil unrest, squalid lifestyle right now, because everything is turning to shit. So, civil unrest. I'm going to show you guys the complications table. So let's take this and let's scroll down to complications. So we just created, when you can't maintain a poor lifestyle, which squalid is worse than poor, when you can't maintain that lifestyle, it triggers complications. So we now will go down to events and complications. So here's our Bastion events. And here's our complications. So the maintain order was the complication that got triggered. So we're going to go to the maintain list. There's 7 orders in D&D. There's craft, empower, maintain, harvest, recruit, and research. 7 orders. So when we have a maintain problem, it can't be solved by maintaining more. It's either going to have to be resolved by crafting something, empowering something, harvesting something, recruiting something, research, trade. I'm going to roll a d6 and we'll find out what the complications is all about. I rolled a line. 2, empower. An unnatural streak of bad luck caused by a curse or blight magic. issue the empower order to remove the curse or purge the blight, or create an adventure to remove the curse or purge the blight. So we know what the blight is. It's the cold snap. So this order can't be resolved until some sort of a solution can be found for the crippling cold that's affecting community. That's just everything everywhere. So that makes perfect sense. That actually makes perfect freaking sense. So let's go to complication. Maintain, empower, blight, cold snap. Must end the blight to purge the complication, to resolve the complication. I'm going to roll on the events table. This is a d20. So we're going to roll a 20-sided die to find out what our Bastion event is for that community. I rolled a 5. That's not good news. Labor loss. So if we have an army, we would our troops would mutiny, but this isn't an army we're talking about. It's not a bastion. If it was a bastion, specifically like a single structure, it is a single structure. It's the Hunter's Lodge. So, Bastion, hirelings strike or quit work. Lose 1 order per turn as a complication until new recruits. Shit. Okay, so, I'm sorry. I didn't need to issue the harvest order. These orders are freed up. Hunter's Lodge doesn't have to use harvest orders because the community does the harvest orders. Our Bastion itself does not need to. So, I've just lost 1 lifestyle. Or I've just lost 1 complication because of our lifestyle. Sorry. Bastion, events, labor, strike. 5. So I've lost 1 order. I think the order that would remain would be patrol and protection. Yeah. Scout is the order, which is a research. It's a research order because you're discovering information, and we don't have any real facilities for that. So it's going to be a D20 plus 6 plus 2, and I just rolled a 7. So a 7 can find nothing, and it actually triggers a complication. When you're doing a scouting check and you make a Bastion roll because NPCs are scouting for you, the result of the die roll that you get is going to result in the scale of threat that they're able to automatically thwart. So like if I had rolled a 30, our scouts would have been able to resolve and turn away any threat of any level. It's just no problems, boss, we got it handled. But I rolled a 7. So that means I can't even resolve the most minimal of threat. I had to roll at least a 10 and I failed. So I've created a second complication. Research equals 7. Complication. So second complication is a scout. Maintain lifestyle. Maintain. And we're going to go back to our complications table. And we'll go to the research column, or the research set. And again, research can't be resolved with more research. And these are scouts. So that's recruit. So when we do this, I'm going to... Let's look. Roll my die. I rolled a 3. Harvest. The target of recruiting demands exotic materials. Oh, no, that's the recruit. I wanted research. I rolled a 3. Harvest. The Bastion is infested with memory loss fungus. So hirelings keep forgetting what they discover. Issue the harvest order to gather the fungus and clear the bastion of the infestation, or create an adventure to discover the origin of the fungus in the bastion. So, that doesn't literally make sense, because the order that we issued was to go scout and discover threats. So the issue then is the potential adventure, and if we consider scouts adventurers, discover the origin of the fungus in the bastion. So the scouts have gone missing is how I would translate that. You have to go find the source of trouble. The source of trouble is that the scouts weren't able to find the threat before the threat found them. And Cold Snap is our theme. So this tells me scout, complication, harvest. Harvest order, huh? How would that make sense? Let's dream up something that would make sense here. So harvesting. Harvest means extracting or withdrawing stuff. The scout is lost. Did they get? Are they stuck? Did they just literally get stuck somewhere? 2 on 3. Are they trapped? Is that what it means by, like, we have to extract them, which means we have to rescue them? See how I'm stretching here? These prompts don't necessarily align well with what it is that you've got going on, but we're using the results to spur our imagination, to trigger stuff. You can see how I'm bending this towards, from harvesting, gathering, to extracting, to rescuing. I'm trying to extract or harvest my scouts from the region they're in. So this is telling me that maybe they drifted too far and they got caught out. They got caught. Maybe they're caught in a freezing wall. Nice. Complication harvest. A wall of freezing ice has trapped the scouts on the far side. So, okay, so when we look at our map, this means, oops, wrong button. There's a wall of ice that's pushing from the Frisia manifest zone towards our community. Let's put it here. And our scouts ran into it, and now our scouts are on the far side. Scouts. So now we have to go rescue these bastards, which means we have to get around the wall of ice and rescue them. We don't have to if we don't want to. They'll eventually be able to rescue themselves. But it is a potential adventure that the team can go on. And I've just ran out of music. So I'm going to refresh. What time is it? 9 o'clock? Let's finish up this community and call it a night. So we're going to continue. Okay, so we now have this place set up. It's having trouble. It's missing people. Scouts are gone. There's an advancing wall of cold that's making everything fucking freezing. This place is having trouble. If the team doesn't care, like if it doesn't care, then I, as a DM, will resolve. We can just resolve the die rolls as a single ability check and have the story evolve. If the players aren't interested in this area, they don't participate. I just take care of it myself as a DM in this mini game here that we're playing together in this solo DM development. But if the team takes interest in Crag Falls, then they can start getting involved in the creation of what these complications are and what will lead them to, and then I'll run them through that adventure to resolve the complications to proceed. But currently there's a wall of ice advancing on this place, and it will eventually hit the community, potentially causing a shitload of trouble. So it's just a matter of how long it's going to take to get here. Well, that's going to be based on the Bastion turns, so we don't have to worry about it right now. That's a threat that's out there. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. Okay, so that is Hunter's Lodge. And that is our capital, the governing bastion for Crag Falls. Now let's create 2 more bastions. Let's see, 2 bastions. Is bastion number 1 second rank? Yes, it is. So it'll have D10 plus 10 points. 15 points. And then unique bastion number 2, is this also second rank? Yes, it is. Second rank. How many bastion points do you have? Ooh, 20. Oh man, this guy's maxed out. That's crazy. Okay. 20 BP. Orders. We know it's going to be lifestyle. Order number 1. Order number 2. What is going on? I am very intrigued with this 15 BP. Let's see, let's put a block down underneath that. I am very interested in what this place is because it's about to pop the 3rd rank. And the community that it's in can't support 3rd rank. So it's capped currently. So I'm interested in what that is because that bastion is going to want to grow. And it's probably going to try to figure out a way how to grow. It needs to establish a trade route with Capital Rock or an external community that's 3rd rank for it to advance to 3rd rank because it's only a 2nd rank community and it's not going to grow anytime soon. It only has 300 people. It needs over 1,000 to become 3rd rank. It's not going to happen with this cold surge happening. So they're kind of stuck. So let's go with we always have a pocket of equals 3 bastion points if we can afford it. Pocket. Three bastion points. If okay, so you only get a number of orders. You get your lifestyle check and then a number of orders equal to your rank. That's how many orders you can issue per bastion turn. If you have a complication and your players don't deal with it and your guild your bastion has to deal with it, they have to issue an order to resolve the complication. So if you have only 2 orders and both of those orders have complications, you're out of orders. You can't solve the problem. You have to send the characters. But if you keep a pocket of spare bastion points that you don't spend on facilities or maintaining a lifestyle, you can purchase additional orders for 1 bastion point each. And at the end of the bastion turn, at the beginning of the next bastion turn, you get all your bastion points back. So it's kind of like spell points on a long rest. The bastion turn is the long rest. And if you're playing gritty realism, you can have your characters operate on a long rest once per bastion turn, and then have their short rests either be, because each bastion turn is a week. Your short rest could be on every night. When they take when they take a sleep, they get their short rest, or it could be like whenever, like an hour. Short turn is still an hour, but if you don't get 8 hours of sleep at night, you get a degree of fatigue that you can only heal every night. So you don't necessarily have to have on Gritty Realism, you don't necessarily have to have your short rest happen every day and then a long rest every week. You could just let short rest happen as frequently as the DM wants, but you need those 8 hours of sleep or you take on degrees of exhaustion. So what are the facilities and what is this Bastion? So it's second rank, which means we get to roll. We're going to go back to our Bastion table and we're going to roll up our Bastion. Let's stay in this one here. Let's stay down here in our Bastion turns and complications and stuff. So 5d6 minus 4. Let's roll that again. Hopefully you guys think this stuff is fun. I love this stuff. I think it's super fucking cool. Obviously I do. I made it. But I'm thrilled with how well it works. That's a 12. So we know Menagerie is 11, is 13. So, a meditation chamber. So this Bastion is built around meditation. Theme. There you go. And it's going to be second rank because that's the theme of the place. So that's going to cap out. We'll look at what all these things do once we get there. So that's 2 points. That's 5 points. We have 10 points left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could have up to 5 more facilities, depending on what rank it is. We'll roll that randomly. So let's do our 5d6 minus 4 again to see where we get. 10. So Menagerie is 13, 12, 11, 10. Laboratory. Is it second rank? Yes. 2. Laboratory. And then what's the next one we get? 10 again. More laboratory. Let's re-roll. I shit you not. I got 10 again. Okay, well, apparently I'm supposed to have 2 laboratories. Is this one first rank? Nope, it's second rank as well. Okay, well, apparently this place does a shitload of business involving laboratories. Meditation chamber is the theme. Do I want to change that to laboratory? This is a refinery. Okay, so let me show you this real quick. So we're talking about this being a mining, like this whole community is built around electrum mining. When issuing a harvest order to acquire materials, you can add an additional Bastion die equal to the rank of this facility. So, animal, mineral, and plant. Those are the 3 types of materials, and laboratory can do chemical processes to make harvesting that material easier. So this place is apparently we're gonna make laboratory the theme instead. Do we want to call this? It's only second rank. Do we want to call this? Smelter? No. What's this built around? So we have 2 laboratories. God, that's crazy. Is this all about artificer alchemists? Yes. Is it something involved Crag Falls? Yes, there's something about Crag Falls that's magical. That's a value. These are all coming up yeses. So we have some sort of chemical compound that's going on in this place. Some sort of exotic moss. Some sort of like, ooh, potions. So. Empower. You can issue the Empower order to create magic items, potions. Of rarity listed for the rank of the facility. It's second rank. We can make uncommon potions with this place. And it is so this is the potion factory. We're gonna call it Potion Factory. So we have 2 facilities. We have 2 laboratory facilities, which is allowed. If you do, you can double down. You can only issue orders to one. You can only issue 1 order to a facility per Bastion turn. So if there's multiple things that you want to use a laboratory at the same time, you have to have multiple laboratories in your Bastion. Otherwise, you're restrained to only 1 order each. So this is obviously a potion factory. They have multiple laboratories in this place, creating uncommon potions. Or it could create 4 common potions, like a minor cure wounds potion is what, 50 gold? So that means our maximum output is 400 gold at 2nd rank. So that means that we can make 8 potions per laboratory. We can make 16 cure wound potions per week in the potion factory. So if the team wants, they could stock up on potions to keep in their mecha with them, so that when they take damage from kaiju combat, they can use a bonus action to chug a minor potion. And the potion factory can punch them out. We're going to call it polyps. Polly's potion. Let's call it Polly's potion factory. Meditation chamber goes along with the idea of magical enchantment, so that makes so much fucking sense. Let's look at the menagerie real quick, just so you guys can see what it does. So check this out. Meditation chamber. A meditation chamber has the unique facilities. When issuing an empower order to create magic items, you get to roll an additional die. And downtime activity, divine contemplation. A character that spends a Bastion turn of downtime activity using this facility grants the benefits of a divine charm. And that divine charm is going to be, let's go down to our benefits. Downtime activities, bestow charms. Example facilities, library, meditation chamber, observatory, reliquary, sanctuary, sanctum. A character that spends a Bastion turn of downtime activity using this facility gains the benefit of a charm. The facility description will indicate which type of charm can be bestowed, whether it's arcane, divine, druidic, or a combination between them. The charm can be any spell from the spell list in the description. The maximum level is determined by the rank of the facility, up to the listed character level. So, 2nd rank facility, our characters are 5th level. We're starting at 5th level. And that means that they can gain the benefit of a 2nd or 3rd level charm. And if you know from the DMG, a charm is a magic spell that you can cast without being a spellcaster, without having any material components, VSM. You don't need it. It's just a magic action. You just wish to trigger your charm and it triggers. So this means that if the team is able to take a downtime for an entire Bastion turn and not actually act on anything, then they can basically take a holiday at this facility and acquire a charm of either arcane, divine, or druidic. So let's go back up to the laboratory and see if it defines what that... meditation chamber. Let's see if it defines what that meditation is going to be. Did it define it? A divine charm. So cleric list, up to 3rd level. We can pick up, and each character can get a different one. So we could acquire a 1-use Revivify. So if something goes wrong in Kaiju combat and a character gets killed, if someone had spent a downtime at this meditation chamber at Polly's Potion Factory, we would have been able to pick up a divine charm. So if the team decides to take a downtime, decides to spend a Bastion turn in downtime activity and lets the Bastions resolve all the die rolls that come up at the end of that Bastion turn, which would only take maybe like an hour for the team to resolve, we could then skip that Bastion turn, and the characters could then have all the perks that they want of their downtime. And in this example, picking up a free Revivify spell, for instance. So that could be really fucking useful. Cool. So let's see. What else do we get? 2, 4, 6, 9. We have 6 points left. 2, 4, 6, 9. 6 points, right. Let's see. So let's roll up another facility. See these facilities become much broader in scope. There's a lot more we can do with these facilities than what was listed in what the player's hand and what the DMG would allow us to do. The DMG is really siloing and they're creating artificial limitations on what each facility can do, while creating which gives them the opportunity to remove those restraints as additional benefits. So what we're trying to do is create a structure around the tier of play that the characters are at, and these facilities help lean into, augment, and provide these basically temporary magic items, one-use scrolls essentially, that any character can acquire if you're willing to spend the meditation chamber downtime turn being in that facility. So which the players could decide that they want to do that. And if they wanted to, they could queue up a different character of the same level to run as a different character while this character is meditating for a week. I don't have that character this week, so instead I'm going to play my Scion. I wanted to play a Scion. Let's fuck around with that for a week. So you bring in a 5th level Scion character because your Barbarian is meditating. Because while your Barbarian normally wouldn't be able to cast magic, it's a charm and ignores those rules. So my Barbarian would get one cleric spell that it can cast on itself even while raging, because he spent a week of downtime activity to acquire that ability, for instance. So let's roll again. I got another 10. So yeah, so we're gonna load up Laboratory. But we can do this. If we're willing to spend the points, we can totally do this. It is allowed. I'm gonna put 2 points into that because of course we are. So more of the same. Boy, that's just, this hasn't happened yet. I love it. Ultra specialization. You can now produce 24 healing potions per week. Let's get rid of this one. This is 12. So let's go to the menagerie list. Another meditation chamber. This is unusual, but I like it. I'm liking it. Meditation chamber. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 more facilities to go. Maybe only 1 more. Let's roll again. Let's see what happens. I'm feeling a sanctum or a reliquary or a sanctuary. Let's see what happens. 15. Meditation chamber was 13. 14. Oh, a pub. Is this pub second rank? No, it's not. It's first rank. Which means this one might be first rank. What does a pub do for us, huh? You want to look at that real quick? When issuing the maintain order to determine the lifestyle of your bastion, you can roll an additional bastion die equal to the rank of the facility. So it's first rank, so that means this would be a D4. The bastion itself is second rank, which means it does D20 plus 2 plus D6. But since we have a pub, we also get a D4. So when we roll the D4 and the D6, whichever result is better, we keep. So this is helping hedge our odds that we're going to have at least a poor or better lifestyle, which we want to have at least a poor lifestyle. With a pub, we can issue the craft order to create non-magical items from the list down below, which is mainly food and drink of different sorts, honestly. We can also issue the research order, which is you can issue the research order unique to this facility to observe conversations and overhear rumors about recent events, local items, locations, or NPCs as detailed in the issuing unique orders section below. This has, you roll your, you make your check when you do the research check, and the result is going to be anywhere from, like 1 to 30, and the range is 10 to 30. If you roll less than a 10, not only do you not find anything, but somebody takes a beef with you for snooping on them, and now you have some sort of rival complication. But if you roll 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 by 5 ranks, however high you roll, that's going to determine the depth of secret that you discover as a result of this information gathering. Or if you're looking for a specific piece of information, the DM will determine what rank of difficulty that piece is from 1 to 5, 10 to 30, and that'll become a target number that you hit. And if you fail the die roll, you create a complication with whoever it is that you were specifically trying to find information out of them, or the organization associated with a location that you wanted to check out, or whatever. But it creates complications based on the theme of what your target was. If you're just doing a general snoop vibe, just a generate adventure, then the level of success will determine the depth of information you have about different ranks of potential adventures that are in the region. So it's an adventure generator. The whole thing's an adventure generator, but this is specifically I'm carousing. I'm snooping for clues. Adventure hooks, things that might be interesting. You can always do that. So we have the pub. So let's do our last one. Um, 10. Kidding me. Okay, we know a menagerie. We know the menagerie is 13. 12, 11. Another laboratory. Can you fucking believe it? This place is crazy. Laboratory. That is crazy. Okay, we're going to reduce our pocket from 3 bastion points to 2 so we can fund the second rank. Okay, so we now have 4 laboratories and 2 meditation chambers. This is Polly's Potion Factory. Polly's, this place is crazy. So I'm going to keep the pub. We have all these labs. I love it. Okay, yeah, this is great. Yeah, that's okay. So we have our lifestyle. We get to roll 2 dice, the D4 and the D6, plus our D20 plus 2. So let's see what our result is. 11, 13, 15. Hey, so we have a comfortable lifestyle. If I maintain that comfortable lifestyle for a month, it'll cost me 2 points. And I have a pocket of 2 points, and that's it. Shit. I'm out of points. Like, for me to have all 4 of these laboratories pumping at the same time, I have to issue 4 orders, but I only have 2. So order number 1, orders is going to be Empower, Minor Healing Potions, and a second order, Empower, Minor Healing Potions. Plus 1. I'm going to drop our pocket down to 1. I'm going to eat that pocket. And I'm going to intentionally drop the level of lifestyle to poor, because poor only costs 1 to maintain. Which is 1 month is 4 bastion turns. And only so poor, comfortable, poor, modest, comfortable, wealthy, and aristocratic. So we have a poor lifestyle, but I'm getting a real, all these health pots that we're making and the meditation chamber for divine. I'm getting a real clear vibe off of this place. It's not an official place of worship, but it's obviously being ran by divine power, and I'm good with that. So +1 is going to be empower minor healing potions. There we go. So we'll be able to turn out second rank, 400 gold, divided by 50, 8 times 3, 24. So we can make 24 potions, healing potions every Bastion turn. And the team doesn't automatically get those. It's what they're able to do. But this place readily has fuckloads of potions available. The team might decide to use their own Bastion points to pick up these health pots to, again, equip their Mecha pilots to be able to keep chugging healing potions to recover themselves instead of having to spend character resources. Because, again, we only have one long rest per Bastion turn. So all the different adventures and Kaiju combats that they're going to deal with are going to have to be all on one long rest. But we're going to let them short rest as often as they want. But long rest doesn't. 8 hours of sleep doesn't provide a short rest. They can take a short rest anytime that they want to keep refueling themselves. But long rest will only be once a week, in synchronized with the Bastion turn. Let's see. So those are our orders. This place is taken care of. I'm not going to roll any complications right now because I just did the other one as just to show you an example. This scout situation, I just set that up. But if the team takes an interest in Polly's Potion Factory and they decide to adopt it as a pet Bastion, then they can start making these rolls and creating complications and spending time inside the larger scope of the campaign. They could bore down and focus their efforts on what does Polly need? What does Polly specifically need to keep pumping out potions for us? Because we need them to kill Kaiju. And that would become a focus for their campaign that week or month or the entire fucking thing, depending on how they want to play the game. So that's Polly's Potions. So we have that one resolved. Now let's make our next Bastion. This will be the last Bastion that we build. And then we'll be done for the night. So we have 20 points. We're going to pocket 3. We have 3 orders, which is going to be lifestyle and extra orders. But we're going to have so much pocket, I bet we're going to be able to have a lot of... Honestly, Polly's Potion Factory should probably be this. But it's not. So what does this get to be? We're going to roll, again, we're going to roll on our facilities table to see what the theme of this place is. And I rolled a 17. So we know the menagerie is a 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. Okay, we already have a settlement, so let's skip up to Smithy. Smithy. Thing. 2 points put into the Smithy because it's the theme. Let's keep rolling. See what else we come up with. 17. So Smithy is 18. Settlement is 17. No, the settlement was 18. So that means that a scriptorum is 17. So we have a scriptorum. Is it second rank? Yes, it is. So, Scriptorum has a unique benefit of your Bastion has a number of spell glyphs inscribed within its borders. The number of glyphs that can be active at once is equal to the rank of the Bastion. The maximum level spell that can be inscribed this way is determined by the rank of this facility as listed below. So we're second rank, we can have a spell encoded as spell glyphs up to third rank. We can also issue the crafting order to create non-magical items like books and parchment and shit like that. And then we have the Empower Order, which we can use to create any kind of scroll that we want. So if the team takes an interest in this place, they could get access to scrolls, any kind of scrolls that they want. And spell glyphs. The spell glyphs are only protecting the facility itself, but so far so good. So let's see. Once a spell glyph is used, it cannot be used again until the beginning of the next Bastion turn, or by expending a Bastion point to reset it. So we could have Revivify built in as a spell glyph. So if somebody dies in the facility, we can trigger the spell glyph to automatically revivify them. And then if we wanted to make that active again, we could use one of our Bastion points to activate it, to refresh and retrigger it. So building a scriptorum into your facility, into your Bastion as a fortress, a scriptorum is going to allow you to build all sorts of defensive glyphs. And as you continue gaining levels, you'll be able to build higher and higher level glyphs to be able to do more and more shit. So if your DM wanted to have a session of your Bastion being raided by enemies, if you as a team have built out the floor plan for your Bastion and decided where you wanted to put glyphs and what spells you want in those glyphs, you can use those to defend your Bastion against the invaders. Similarly, if you're building a dungeon and you have a scriptorum in that dungeon, the DM can place glyphs anywhere he wants inside that facility as traps or as trigger steps that the hirelings of the facility activate as they need. So they can act as actual like explosive runes, but the higher rank it is, the higher level your characters are, the higher rank dungeons they take on, the more exotic type of spell effects could be active. Like there could be I don't know, like a maze, the 9th level maze spell that dumps a bunch of people into like a mental trap or whatever. Shit, you can even have an imprisonment, a 5th rank. Like, can you imagine like the Azorius Senate in a Ravnica campaign has in their main civil archives, like the main archives, they have various spell glyphs set up that if you stumble into a place that you don't know how to disarm, it'll trigger an imprisonment spell on you and pull you down to the core of the planet and send an alert that there's been a new prisoner that's been a new creature has been imprisoned. Go investigate. And now you've been imprisoned and they have you. So like that's what you can do, like a 5th rank facility. So dream it up, and the DM can use all these mechanics to build your dungeons. So when you're building your dungeon, you can theme all the rooms in your dungeon around different facilities that you would have set up. The Eberron adventure that we're running, we have an underground facility, like a military facility that's underground. It's like an underground bunker, and it's been divided and organized as different facilities, like training area and laboratory and armory and a storehouse, like all these different rooms that are all throughout the dungeon are literal facilities that they can do shit with. So if the team takes over the dungeon at the end of the adventure, all of those facilities are ready for them to go ahead and utilize and be up and running. So fun, right? But that's what this is what this book is building out to be. There you go. So we have the scriptorum, and I love doing this stuff. I don't know if you guys think it's cool or not, but this shit to me as a DM, this is the bee's knees. Like there's so many things that are being built out in this little world that we're having here. It is just stuffed full of just shit the players can just do. I love it. I just love it. So this was an 18, which is another scriptorum. So, okay. I'm thinking maybe I should make scriptorum the theme of this place. Let's roll another one. 15. 18. 17. 16. 15. Pub. Second rank or first rank? Second rank? No, first rank. Pub. Okay, let's roll it again. Oops. I should have... This should be concealed. There we go. What do we roll? 25, which minus 4 is 21. So, Scriptorum is an 18. $18, 19, 20. Spy Network. Is it second rank? Yes, it is. Okay, what does the Spy Network do? Basic facility benefit. When issuing the attack order to sabotage a rival bastion or settlement, you can roll an additional bastion die equal to the rank of the facility. And when issuing the defend order to protect the bastion from attack, you roll an additional bastion die equal to the rank of the facility. And then your unique order is research. You can issue a research order that is unique to this facility to gather information about people, places, and things, local or abroad, searching for sabotage or information about potential rival targets, as detailed in the unique orders below. So this is targeting out threats. This is why are you back? You should be gone. Thank you. Yeah, Spy Network. There you go. I'm getting a real scry augury sort of feel out of this place. I feel there should probably be an arcane study here as well. How weird. What an interesting setup this is. Let's go with, you know what? God, we got 20 points. I'm gonna create a pocket of 4 points. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We got 7 points left, so let's see how we're gonna scroll this all out. 5, 15, another pub. Is this pub second rank? No, first rank. Okay, this place is all about scriptorums and gathering information, apparently. Let's keep going. A 6. Arcane Studies number 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't have a crypt. Can't have a divinity plane. Gaming hall. That's awesome. Is it second rank? Yes, it is. So, the gaming hall basic facility benefit is when you issue the maintain order to determine the lifestyle of the bastion, you can roll an additional bastion die up to the value listed for the rank of the facility. So it's second rank, which is an extra d6. So when we roll the lifestyle for this particular facility, for this particular bastion, this location, we have the d20 plus 2 plus d6 plus a second d6, and we'll keep the highest result of those 2 dice. But hold on, what about the pub? because the pub makes food and shit, right? So when you issue the maintain order to determine the lifestyle of your bastion, you can roll an additional bastion die equal to the rank of this facility. So our pubs are first rank, so we're going to roll 2 6-sided dice and 2 D4s. And of those 4, whichever one has the highest result, we're going to keep. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That takes us to 16. We have 4 points left. Okay, we'll go one more. One more. And then we'll call it close. I got a 16. 15 is pub. Reliquary is too high. A sacristy. Once per day, when a character finishes a short rest in the sacristy, you regain an expended spell slot up to level 5. And orders are, you can issue the craft order to create non-magical items up to the value of the listed for the rank of the facility, and empower. You can use the empower order to create divine or druidic magic items, which can include relics, holy water, potions, rods, scrolls that are divine or druidic, staff, wand, and wanderer's items. So sacristy. And is this first or second rank? Is it second rank? Yes, it is. So we've got a lot of booze, we got a lot of scrolls, and we've got the ability to make divine and druidic healing. So this makes me feel like, is this going to be druidic or is it divine? Let's roll. Is it divine? Yes, it is. There's a real divine vibe because we got Pulley's Potion Factory, which is also a bunch of divine shit, plus the healing potions. So that's a bunch of divine stuff. And the sacristy makes me think, what is this? Eberron, sovereign host, gods. Get the hell out of here, thank you. You too, I accept all cookies, shut up. And get out of here, God, FanWiki sucks. Get out. The 9 sovereigns, the sovereign of life and love, law and lore, hall and hearth, sun and sacrifice, strength and steel, world and wealth, feast and fortune, fire and forge. It's either going to be fire and forge or hall and hearth. Let's go. Odd equals hall and hearth. Even equals fire and forge. I rolled hall and hearth. Copy. Buldra's Hearth. Smithy is the theme. Nope. Reopen. Because, get the fuck out of my way. Because the theme, the theme of the, get out. The theme of this bastion is forge, smithy. So this actually makes more sense. So we'll do it this way. Where do we go from here, guys, huh? Ona, Tars, Anvil. Second rank. There we go. Now we get to roll our lifestyle. So we're going to roll a d20 plus 2d6 and 2d4. There we go. A 6 and a 12 plus 2, that's 20. So comfortable lifestyle. Wouldn't you know it, I had 3 points left. Maintained for 1 month. There we go. And we have 2 more orders. And we have a lot of facilities. So the Scriptorms make scrolls. Smithies make equipment. Spy network finds out. Maybe let's focus on where the Pirates of Lazar. Is that what we're gonna do? No. How about? I like that though. Double check. No, really doesn't like it. Is there some sort of rival? No. Okay, so let's see. Spy Network is Spy Network's not doing anything right now? Yeah, it's not, huh? Sacristy can make magic items, which can include scrolls. Scriptorm can also make scrolls. Smithy. Are we refining ore with the smithy? Let's look up again what the smithy can do. That's our theme, so we should probably be doing something smithy themed, right? When issuing a harvest order to acquire mineral materials, you can roll an additional bastion die. And you can issue craft order to create non-magical items, and you can empower to create armor, ring, rod, weapon, wanderers items. Okay, so we're going to do a bunch of orders, which is going to be, order 1 is going to be harvest materials, mineral, which is going to be, are we specifically doing that? No, the settlement's doing that. What are we doing? Are we doing something? Are we using our magic to enhance the mining operations? No, we're not. Are we using our facilities to help provide food during the cold snap? Yes, we are. So we have a scriptorum. It should be smithy themed. So what can the smithy do? Craft items. Magical items, armor, ring, rod, weapon, wanderer's item. Let's look up D&D Beyond. Let's look up magic items. Let's look up uncommon rarity. And let's restrict access to core source category. Core rules, and is there anything else? Nah, nothing I want. All right, let's do that search. And let's make it wondrous items. Alchemy jug, what do you do? Magic action, name one liquid in alchemy jug. Liquid creates table to cause the jug to produce the chosen liquid. Afterwards, you can uncork the jug as a utilized action and pour that liquid out up to 2 gallons per minute. The maximum amount of liquid the jug can produce depends on the liquid you named. Once the jug starts producing a liquid, it can't produce a different one or more of one than has been reached its maximum until the next dawn. basic potion, right on. Beer, honey, mayonnaise, water, wine, vinegar. Let's say milk instead of mayonnaise. 2 gallons. That's not a lot. That's per day. Oh, hold on. Let's do this instead. Let's go with proof, bag of tricks, boots, bracers, brooch, broom, circle of blasting, cloak, cloak of manta ray. Oh, wait. And common. There we go. Anything cool? Bead of nourishment. Gelatinous bead dissolves on your tongue and provides as much nourishment as 1 day of rations. It's expendable. So that means it's 50 gold as a common item. 50 gold, 400 production. It can do 8 per day per sanctum. Smithy, yeah, I can make 1. And the sacristy and the smithy, they can make wondrous. What are we doing? Let's do, no, I can't harvest mineral. Comfort. Able. Let's do, research. Ooh. Wow, it's late. Research. Local rumors. And research. Seeking rivals. Spy. Network. Pub. There we go. And hey, look at that. We finished that community. So now we have Unatar's Anvil as a significant location. Polly's Potion Factory is another significant location. The Hunter's Lodge is the governing area. And then the actual facilities itself, smithy, storehouse, guild hall, barracks, stables, workshop, all the things that we need for smelting and working in an electrum mine. So that is Crag Falls. Crag Falls is now a really fucking cool place for the players to go and spend time at, because it's got a ridiculous amount of divine energy, divine magic available to them. I love it. All right, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and call that quits for the night, guys. When we come back on Thursday, we're going to have the Heart of the Artificer, or whatever it's called, the Eberron Artificer book with all the new facilities in it. So we're going to go through and we're going to look at the facilities and see how they might complement all these mechanics that we've built for this Bastion campaign system. This is going to be on the DMsGuild eventually. It'll take a while for us to build it out. We're still testing it. We're still having fun with it. I'm really confident with it, but it's always nice to have more people running through it to make sure that they're enjoying the mode of play, that this player DM sort of aspect of leaning into creating their own adventures. And it's a different format than what my other team is running. So I'm looking forward to seeing how well it fares with Spelljammer, plus, the Mecha stuff. But yeah, so this is linked. This read-only document right now is, hey guys, that is linked down here. This is the campaign workbench that we're actually building all this stuff inside of. Bastion Campaign work in progress. This is the Google Doc that I'm referencing for all these different facilities for the Bastion Campaign. Down here is the Kaiju and Constructs work in progress for how we build mecha and giant-sized monsters, and like colossal size, whatever, like the 50-foot cloaker or 20-foot dark mantles and stuff. The Spelljammer Subclasses book that we have developing here using our Spelljammer combat and exploration mechanics, which is already published on the DMsGuild. So these are 3 books that are eventually going to get published that currently are all working really nicely together. But the Bastion Campaign is a massive game changer for how DMs run their games in 5e or any game that they want to just throw. I mean, it's all the features and stuff are custom built for the Bastion mechanics of 5e24. But the basic premise of it can work with any game at all, just rolling dice and resolving complications. Just change the features and downtime activities to match whatever game system that you're using, but it still roughly works. It's just specifically coded to 5e. So here's my Discord community. If anyone's interested in joining and participating with this stuff or has any questions, be welcome to join and ask questions. I would love if you're taking an interest in this, and I'm happy to help you if you want to use this to frame your own campaign. I would love to have some DMs playtesting this themselves, so be welcome. There you go. I'll kick you access to it. And let's see. Here's a bunch of other books that I made on the DMsGuild. Here's the Color Mana Spell Point variant rules for converting Magic and D&D into the color magic of Magic the Gathering. Those are gold bestsellers at this point, and I've ran 2 full 20-level campaigns with it, plus other multiple smaller campaigns. It's really fucking good, and we're updating all the class stuff for 2024. I'll be running a stream for converting the Artificer to the spell point system in the Magic Gathering system. I'll be doing that tomorrow at lunch. That'll be a special session. Tomorrow morning, I'll continue doing Eberron artwork. And that's it. So, God, man, thanks a lot, everybody. That's tune in and hung out with me tonight. I really love building this stuff. I hope it's interesting to you too. Like and subscribe. Thursday we'll do more Bastion stuff with the Artificer Eberron book. Saturday morning, we're going to convert the Artificer subclasses into the Color Mana system. Tomorrow, we'll do artwork. We always do artwork in the mornings, Monday through Friday. And then Tuesday at lunch tomorrow, I don't know when, but sometime tomorrow afternoon, like and subscribe to get notification of it. That I'll be doing my initial look at the Artificer class scaffold and rebuilding it for the Color Mana system that we already have published. And then developing it further for 2024. Yeah, that's it. So thanks a lot, guys. I'll see everyone in the future. Thank you. Later, guys.